Any further? The second preliminary aspect that the state wants to deal with, my lord, it's a proposition that was put by our late colleague, Mr. Mgomezulu, to Colonel Mangena, the ballistic expert, on the 28th of August 2024. We have on various occasions, my lord, intimated that we would like to show the footage that deals with that aspect, as well as the hand up the affidavit of the witness from ENCA who deals with this aspect. We have conferred, my lord, with our colleagues regarding this aspect, and with a view to seeing if we can perhaps invoke the provisions of Section 213 of the Criminal Procedure Act to hand the footage by consent. However, my colleagues, and subject to confirmation by them, indicated that they are not going to consent to the admission of this affidavit. We therefore have to call this witness. The witness is not here today, my lord. We hope to secure his attendance in due course. We're in discussion with his legal representative. He was subpoenaed to attend court on the 17th of June, 2025. However, he was excused from attending court and being present, as at that time, my lord, we're still in negotiations with the defense. And since we could not reach consensus, we will have to call this witness, my lord. We would like to show the footage today, my lord, and we are going to rely on the provisions of Section 3 of the HSA Act. And the reason, my lord, why we want to show the footage at this stage is we would like Brigadier Gininda to comment on the on the footage. And may I just briefly refer then to Section 3 of the Law of Evidence Amendment Act 45 of 1988. Which provides as follows. Section 3, hearsay evidence, says, subject to the provisions of any other law, hearsay evidence shall not be admitted as evidence at criminal proceedings or civil proceedings unless, and we are going to refer to subsection 3, which is relevant here. It says, hearsay evidence may be provisionally admitted in terms of subsection 1B. And section 1B reads that the person upon whose credibility the probative value of such evidence depends himself testifies at such proceedings. Now, subsection 3 reads that hearsay evidence may be provisionally admitted in terms of section 1B if the court is informed that the person upon whose credibility the probative value of such evidence depends himself testifies in such proceedings. provided that if such person does not later testify in such proceedings, the hearsay evidence shall be left out of account unless the hearsay evidence is admitted in terms of paragraph A. And paragraph A says that each party against whom the evidence is to be adduced agrees to the admission thereof as evidence in such proceedings. Or subsection 1. Subsection 1 basically, my Lord, gives the discretion to the court to admit hearsay evidence after having had regard to the nature of the proceedings, the nature of the evidence, the purpose for which the evidence is tendered, the probative value of the evidence, the reason why evidence is not given by the person upon whose credibility the probative value of such evidence depends, and any prejudice to a party which the admission of such evidence might entail, and lastly, any other factor which should, in the opinion of the court, be taken into account. Now, subsection 4 defines hearsay evidence as follows. Hearsay evidence means evidence, whether oral or in writing, the probative value of which depends upon the credibility of any other person other than the person giving such evidence. Now, my Lord, as indicated, would like to show the footage which deals with the proposition that was put by Mr. Mngomezulu. And we see that in the proceedings of the 28th of August, 2024. And my Lord, I'm just going to read out the proposition just merely to show relevance, you know, and not for any other purpose, my Lord. During the proceedings of the 28th of August, 2024, page 11, line 19, Mr. Mngomezulu. All right, let me put this version to you. According to those witnesses that I did not want to disclose at this stage, 3 shots were fired. 1 shot is the one that caused injury to Zandi on her leg. The other shot is the one that Longwe Twala shot himself on the leg while they were struggling for the gun. The third one is the one that shot Senzo Meiwa, but I'm not mentioning them according to the sequence, how they happened. I mean, all these 3 shots, they caused injury to Zandi. The one was stuck in the ankle of Longwe Twala, and the other one is the one that shot Senzo dead. Then in line 10 on page 12, Mr. Mngomezulu, Longwe, after that incident, that wound became septic, and he went to a doctor, the late Dr. Mbatsani, who referred Longwe Twala to Dr. Mudise in Ren Hospital, where a bullet was taken from Longwe's foot. Now, my Lord, the purpose of this footage is to deal with this proposition. I will then, my Lord, maybe just allow my colleagues to make submissions if they have any submissions to make in the in this regard.
Yes, Mnisi?
As it please the court, my lord, the first aspect that is stated intimated that it is that it would wish to call the dentist who examined Mr. Sibia, Mr. Mnube, and whose report is already before court, and the state is basing that on the argument that in every circumstances the state has a first pick on witnesses. That is a gross misrepresentation of facts, my lord. This witness, for starters, Dr. Ali, is nowhere seen in the list of state witnesses. The state can only have a pick of witnesses when they specifically state the name of that witness in their list of state witnesses in terms of Section 144 of the Criminal Procedure Act. Dr. Ali, it's none of those witnesses. The state argues that by virtue of the fact that Dr. Ali works for the state, he then automatically becomes their witness. It also does not work out like that, my lords. If the state wanted to use Dr. Ali as their witness, the state should have made it a point that Dr. Ali does what the defense requested him to do, which is to assess Mr. Mnube, and then the state comes and includes him, as one of its witnesses in the list of state witnesses. The state cannot simply say because he works for the state, then he therefore automatically becomes their witness. It does not work out like that, my lord. For the fact that this process was initiated by the defense, and the defense approached Dr. Ali, who is working for the state, that simply means that Dr. Ali has been requested by the defense to come and assist the court. Who made that request is the defense. Therefore, whose witness is that? Is the witness's defense. It's very simple, my lord. There are so many witnesses that we would have loved to consult, which witnesses are in, that the defense would have loved to consult, whose names are in the list of state witnesses. And you are quite certain that some of those witnesses would provide some evidence that is favorable to the defense. That's an open secret. But for now, we'll not be able to do that because those witnesses are in the list of, their names are in the list of state witnesses. We can't even go near them. Exactly that is what the state wants to do. It's like the defense has got its own list of witnesses and say, this is our list of witnesses. And then the defense comes and say, no, but that one is working for the state. It can't be your witness because he's working for it. It does not work out like that. He's our witness. I think the proposal by the defense, by the state, that in an event that we choose not to call Dr. Ali to come and testify in the defense case because it's our witness, then the state is going to make an application in terms of 186 to request the court, in the interest of justice, to have Dr. Ali called. But the state cannot call him. How will they then be in a position to interview our own witness? That will be a very gross irregularity, my lord. If that is what the state wants to do, state must stand up and say it also allows us the opportunity to interview the witnesses at this very same moment that they will not be utilizing later on, even before they close their state's case. I know the state will not do that because that is unprocedural. They are not yet our witnesses. They are still part of the state's witnesses. They've not been disclosed to us. The state does not even say to us, will you be calling Dr. Ali? Are you amenable to disclose Dr. Ali to us? The state simply says that, no, I want to call that witness because he's working for the state, and simply because he's working for the state, then we've got a first preference. It does not work out like that is a very gross, that would be a very gross irregularity of a procedure, my lord. Thank you. I think the last aspect, the 186, it covers everything, my lord. That's just my submission in the first instance, my lord. Now, with regard to the proposition that, I'm not so sure if the, thank you, my lord. Now, with regard to the proposition that was put by Mr. Mngomezulu on some of the witness here, it is indeed so, my lord, that upon being approached by the state, we recorded our vehement objection to the procedure that the state wanted to adopt or to employ. And basically the state, my lord, does not give the court the background of what is happening here. Remember Mr. Mngomezulu said, as per the quotation that has been read on record today, Longwe was one of the people who apparently got injured in the house. Now the state wants to refute that allegation. Now the state says, we want to refute that allegation by showing a video that shows Longwe that the following day, that's the information that we got from the state, that the following day, Longwe was seen walking very straight, he was not limping, and which is an indication that he could not have been injured on the 26th, because on the 27th, he was seen, he's being seen on the video, he's walking very straight, he's not limping. But that on its own has got its own challenges, my lord. And the state says, no, we got a clip of a video from ANC, ENCA, yes, I'm sorry, from ENCA. We got a clip of a video that will demonstrate that Longwe immediately on the 27th, he was seen walking. But that has got various challenges, my lord. And those challenges are as follows. Just before I get to those challenges, the state says, no, we want to rely on exceptions to the hearsay rule. We want to lead this evidence on a provisional basis and allow the brigadier here to opine on the content of the video itself. And the state is saying it will be in the interest of justice that such videos should be shown and therefore allow Brigadier Kininda to opine. The state does not even say that after the acceptance or the admission of this hearsay evidence on a provisional basis, what would then happen with regard to it being accepted as part of the record? Finally, it does not say to the court what is going to happen to that. But now these are the challenges that I mentioned earlier on, my lord. Number one, the statement, the 212 statement or the 213 statement that the state says was penned by, that the state said it received, and it is through that statement that it wants to introduce this video. It is a statement by a certain gentleman known as Mr. Bailey. We got that statement. Now, Mr. Bailey simply says to the state, on paragraph 5 of his affidavit. This is what he says, and he says it emphatically. He says, on paragraph 5, I have no personal knowledge relating to the presence of Mr. Twala at the home of Ms. Kumalo on the 27th of October 2014, as I was not present at a residence. In fact, at the time I was not working in South Africa. I was in fact working in China. To repeat, I have no personal knowledge regarding the events, people or places depicted in the footage that is requested. So how does then Mr. Bailey assist the court here? Because he simply addresses the question that we are taking up as an issue with the state. Number one, how are we going to know as to when that video was taken? Who will come and tell this court that, no, this video was actually taken on such and such and such a day, on the 27th of October 2014? Who will come and say that? Who took that video? Under what circumstances? Why was that video actually taken? Those are all the things that the state is hiding from the court. But more importantly, my lord, more importantly, the state says that the probative value of this video, which is hearsay, lies on Mr. Bailey. Mr. Bailey says, no, it can't lie on me because I was not present at the residence. I was working in China. And it says to repeat, I have no personal knowledge regarding the events, the people or places that are depicted in the footage. How can it then be argued that the probative value of this video that Mr. Bailey distances himself from can lie on Mr. Bailey? It is worse with Brigadier Kininda. It is even worse with Brigadier Kininda. He will be called upon to give evidence or to give an opinion on something which the court will, something that the court will not even know. Where does this thing come from? For starters, we don't even know where was this video taken, whether it was taken at the hostel, whether it was taken at the tavern, or whether it was, because we've seen the video. It's a 5-second clip of a video. Or 34 seconds, yes. It's a 34-second clip video. Where it was taken, we don't know. For what purpose, we don't know. But my lord, this is what should concern the court very attentively. Mr. Longwe, he's one of the state witnesses that is mentioned in the indictment. Let me repeat again. Mr. Longwe is one of the state witnesses who is mentioned in the list of state witnesses in terms of Section 144 of the Criminal Procedure Act. The state, by simply including him in the list of state witnesses, gave out an impression that if circumstances were to arise that Mr. Longwe should come testify, we'll definitely call him. Therefore, you as a defense, stay away from him, because as of now, he's our witness. Now, the question that begs this court is, and that should actually trouble the court, my lord, very gravely so. Mentioning Longwe in the list of state witnesses, that is the person on whose probative value on what is happening on that video lies. It is only Longwe who can come and tell this court, yeah, no. Actually, the state does not even have to call that video, does not even have to play that video It simply has got to say to Longwe, Mr. Mngomezulu made these allegations to you that as and when this incident happened on the 26th of October 2014, you also got injured on your feet. Those are the allegations that Mr. Mngomezulu put to one of the witnesses. Do you agree with those allegations or not? And then he comes and tells this guy, I know, I never got injured today. Mr. Mngomezulu, probably I don't know, got that version from. That's the best evidence rule. Why is the state afraid? Or avoiding, really not afraid? Why is the state avoiding to call Mr. Longwe, my lord? Longwe Twala. Why is the state afraid? I have tried to come up with speculation and answers to which ingenuity may suggest. I can only think, my lord, and I'll be forgiven for thinking that the state is afraid that Mr. Longwe comes here. He says, no, I never got injured on that day. But beyond that, let me tell you how this incident happened. Actually, the firearm that was used on that day was not a 9mm, it was a revolver. That's just a speculation.
This court can't listen to speculation.
Yes, thank you, my lord. But the gist of the question is, why is the state avoiding to call Longwe? The state does not say Longwe is no longer available. The state does not say that Longwe is untraceable. He is still there. That is the person on whose credibility and the probative value of what is depicted on that video lies, my lord. I would therefore strongly object in the strongest terms that that video should be played here and for Brigadier Kininda to come and opine on that video. What will he be saying? And in fact, the court has just indicated that it does not want to listen to speculation. All that Brigadier Kininda is going to say will be speculation, my lord. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, my lord. May I just summarize
Now
everything?
let's the defense finish, and then you
As a
summarize for all three.
The court, please, my lord.
Okay.
As the court pleases, my lord, two submissions really. The first one pertains to the applicability of Section 3, subsection 3 of the Hearsay Evidence Act 45 of 1988. And I say, my lord, with the greatest respect to Advocate Baloyi, that does not find applicability, my lord. My lord, we will have learned from the Baleka cases, the Singh, the Ramgobin, that video evidence is real evidence, and generally it is not considered hearsay. Hearsay will only arise, my lord, if in the video the persons depicted are making statements, and those persons are not available to come and confirm the statements that they made in that video. Otherwise, it is real evidence. There's no hearsay act applicable here, and I'll tell the court why. Mr. Mnisi has introduced, by way of submission, what we have seen in that video. That video is a 34-second video, my lord. It does not show any person uttering anything, or at least it is not audible what the utterances are being made. For that reason, my lord, I'll say the Hearsay Act does not assist the state in trying to bring Longwe's evidence via the back door, via Mr. Bailey, who says, in fact, what he obtained was not a video of 27 October 2014, but it's a broadcast of 10 October 2024. That was a rebroadcast, and it contains the subject matter of the subpoena that was served upon him by the state. He does not say it contains this footage. He says the subject matter of the subpoena. I don't know what the subject matter is. The state will clarify that for the court, my lord. I'm not privy to the subpoena that was served. It was never disclosed to us, my lord. And I don't think we also belong in the serving of that subpoena, my lord. Now, with video footage, my lord, it needs to be authenticated that it represents accurately what it purports to be depicting. Now, if only that it shows its action and not words, no oral utterances, I'm still standing, my lord, that without utterances, the Hearsay Act does not apply, my lord. Now, the second aspect, my lord, is, and just to concretize this point, is the one that Mr. Mnisi touches on. Mr. Longwetwala is alive, my lord. In fact, my lord, if I go back in 2023, before Mr. Host testified, we received an email from Advocate Baloyi informing us that we must prepare that because they were going to call, amongst others, that Monday, Longwetwala, Jack Buthelezi, and Mr. Host, Colonel Host. And about 10 was made later to say, no, prepare only for Jack Buthelezi and Mr. Host, my lord. I understand, my lord. I've been practicing for 100 years. The state is dominus litis. Why they decided at the last minute to withdraw Mr. Longwe to come and testify is their own prerogative, my lord. But the point that I'm making, he's still alive and kicking. And but what we have read in the media, my lord, he's sobering up from whatever is afflicting him. So he's a compellable witness to be called and testify on this aspect, whether or not he was shot at and injured on the 26th of October 2014, my lord. My lord asked me the other day whether I read Canadian law, and there's an important term that was mentioned there by one of the judges, and Sopinka was also in that judgment, which says a witness like Mr. Gininda for this purpose is not going to assist the court and ourselves, my lord, to know that the person depicted on that video is Longwetwala. I don't know Longwetwala. The court does not know Longwetwala. My colleagues, I believe, they don't know Longwetwala. We are going to listen to the say-so of Mr. Gininda that this is Longwetwala. That, my lord, in Canada has been held to be a supererogatory and unnecessary evidence by Sopinka. So, Advocate Baloyi is inviting this court to listen to the most superfluous evidence that will come from Brigadier Gininda, with the utmost respect. Brigadier Gininda is not going to assist the court in that respect, my lord. So I submit, my lord, and vehemently so as well, that this video should not be played in court until it's authenticated by the relevant people under oath, my lord. Not through the Hearsay Act that is not applicable, not through the superfluous evidence of a lay opinion of Mr. Gininda, my lord. Brigadier Gininda, I'm sorry, my lord. As the court pleases, those are my submissions, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Kamumalo.
Thank you, my lord. The first issue that I want to address is the issue of the witness. Dr. Ali.
Yeah.
My lord, the stage at which the state can boldly say that that witness is theirs has gone past because of the propositions that were put by my learned colleague, Advocate Mnisi, to Sergeant Mabasa under cross-examination. There's versions, there's propositions, there's the contents of the report that was put to Sergeant Mabasa by my colleague during cross-examination. So the state cannot say now that that witness can be called by them. That is the state, because it will be ran parallel. The defense is calling the witness. On the same breath, the state wants to call that witness to testify on the very same issues that the defense has raised. So That is totally, totally unacceptable. On the issue of the video, firstly, I wish to mention, my lord, that there is no change statements in respect of what happened after that video was taken, where it was stored, up to the stage when it was played by or handed to the state for them to use it in this trial. We don't have even the statement of a person who took that video. We don't know when it was taken and the time when it was taken. Safe to say that we were told that that video was taken on the 27th of October, 2014. That is the following day. The person who is depicted on the video, I'm instructed by my client that he doesn't know that person. As to why that person is not called here in court to come and testify, we don't know. It is my submission, my lord, that the applicability of the Hearsay Act is not relevant in this application or the submission by the state, because we don't have anything. We don't have affidavit in support of the video. As I've indicated, my lord, we don't have change statements of the person who took the video as to where it was stored, and the person who is depicted on the video to say that he is indeed the person who is there. We don't have such. So it cannot be said that the applicability of the Hearsay Act is relevant in this aspect. And again, my lord, in this matter, I can say it without any reservation, because I can see that time is against us. We seem to be going in circles, my lord. The assertions by Mr. Mgomezulu were raised in this court on the 28th of August, 2024, some 10 months, as to why this was not pursued after Mr. Mgomezulu, may his soul rest in peace, was not followed. The issue of the video was not followed. We don't know, because one would have assumed that after such assertions were made by Mr. Mgomezulu, then the state was going to pursue the issue of the video to lead that evidence. But now it wants to lead that evidence through Brigadier Kininda, of which when the matter was adjourned on Monday to today, we had expected that Brigadier Kininda was going to be re-examined on the aspect of the application that was granted by this court, having been made on the 17th of June, 2025. So I really must say, my lord, that we seem not to be making any progress in this matter. Thank you.
Yeah, can interpret.
Bafowethu ke kade kunodaba lana kade sikhuluma ke ngalokho noma kade ihlangothi noma ithimba ke labashushisi ebaqhamukisile kudaba lakhona ukuthi uBrigadier Kininda bambizile ukuthi azokhuluma amaphicelezi nodaba lolu ithombe kade iqhamukile la ngaphambi kwenkosi enkantolo ke lezi kade bejijobulela njengofakazi ubushaka lapho ke la kade bekhuluma khona ukuthi baletha ke lapho kumnumzana warrant officer Ndlovu futhi nomnumzana oSergeant Mabasa ke ekuthize baletha ufakazi babo phicelezi nodaba lolu ithombe ke lapho ke bese ngemuva kwalokho besabiza kumnumzana uBrigadier Kininda ukuthizena azojobela ke azokhuluma phicelezi nodaba lolo ke kepha ke khona ke inkulumo iqhamukile ke lapho ke khuluma ngayo ehlangothi lethimba labashushisi elukhulume ngayo ke lathi khona ke njalo lapho ke khona ke inkulumo yakhulunywa ke lapho umnumzana osele washona ke lapho umnumzana Mgomezulu ke lapho ke phecelezi nodaba lofakazi malana nodaba lwevideo kade beshicelele lapho ke basho khona nje kungaphansi kwezomthetho ke lapho ke section 213 thizeni ke umnumzana uBrigadier Kininda bambuze ke imibuzo phecelezi nodaba lwevideo khona uthi video khona dlala ka 34 wama seconds ke lapho ke bathi futhi video khona kujangala khona ke lapho kulongithwala ngesikhathi kade hamba khona ke lapho ke bathi futhi umnumzana uMngomezulu sele washona ke kunenkulumo awayikhuluma ukuthi lapho ke ngesikhathi kade khona ke udlame kulokho lomuzi namhlanje esigameko ke ngaphakathi kwalomuzi lapho wakhumalo ke lapho ke kwadutshula khona ke lapho ke ulongwe onyaweni lwakhe ke futhi nozanda thola ukulimala lapho ke bese ke enye ke inhlamvu lapho ke bese yashaya ke lapho ke Senzo ngesikhathi bekashona khona-ke lapho-ke kepha wathi umnumzana uMngomezulu inkulumo yakhe akaze ayikhuluma ngokuthi ubani oqala wadutshula-ke lapho-ke bese kwalandela abani ngemuva kokuqala bese wesibili nokwesithathu-ke lapho-ke kepha-ke bese lapho-ke abameli benu wathola-ke isikhathi sokuthi nabo baphendule-ke mayelana nesicelo lesi kade sekuthola ubaba olokozana umnumzana uState lapho sithi umshushisi kade ayikhuluma ngesikhathi bekaletha inkulumo yakhe lapho-ke bese waphakama washo khona njalo lapho-ke umnumzana umnisi-ke ukuthi ngesikhathi bekaphendula malapha phecelezi nenkulumo lebekhuluma-ke umnumzana obalo-ke lapho kumele ehla ithimba labashushisi-ke lapho-ke washo khona wathi udokotela u-Ali-ke lapho-ke ufakazi-ke wabo-ke lapho-ke ngoba kusaseyena ufakazi ohlangothi noma ithimba labashushisi-ke lapho-ke ngoba uyena sele bamsebenzisile-ke lapho-ke futhi yena osebenza ngaphansi kwesikhungo-ke lapho-ke sakahulumeni-ke laba abenza khona-ke iy'nhlolo zabo-ke zamazinyo-ke lapho shuthi i-dentist-ke leyo-ke la kade umnumzane Ncube aye khona-ke ngesikhathi kade bamhlola-ke amazinyo wakhe-ke phecelezi nodaba lwezinyo legolide lelo bathi kade analo ithimba labeshushisi-ke lapho-ke kule thombi lezi kade ziqhamukile bebeletha ufakazi bazo-ke lapho-ke umnumzana Warrant Officer Ndlovu futhi nomnumzana olokuzana uSergeant Mabasa-ke lapho-ke bese babuya bakhuluma-ke khona njalo bathi ngekhe kukhonakala ukuthi udokotela bambize futhi abizwe ithimba labashushisi-ke lapho-ke ekuthizini alethe kufakazi bakhe-ke lapho-ke ngoba wona sele bamsebenzisile futhi waqedile ngofakazi bakhe-ke lapho-ke wabuya washo khona njalo wathi ngekhe bakhona ukuthi babize kudokotela ngoba bakhona futhi abanye abofakazi-ke abawela ngaphansi kwethimba labeshushisi-ke lapho-ke nabo angafisa ukuthi bababize bese beze-ke ngaphambi kusenkantolo-ke uma sebebabiza kushila bona-ke bangaze bahambisane nohlangothi lwenu-ke uma ngabe bethula kufakazi babo-ke lapho-ke futhi washo khona njalo wathi melana nodaba lolo lakhulunywa umnumzana uMngomezulu-ke ngesikhathi kade abuza imibuzo-ke kubufakazi labo-ke yena-ke bathi washo khona njalo ukuthi-ke yebo uShongwe uwomunye wabantu abalimala kade bekhona-ke ngaphakathi kwalo muzi loyana-ke futhi-ke kepha lapho-ke ithimba laba labeshushisi kade ngesikhathi esanele lokuthi lapho-ke bahlale phansi naye lo ngokukhulumisana naye-ke bese bamlungise lapho-ke ekuthizeni eze alethe ufakazi bakhe la ngaphambi kungusenkantolo-ke bathi khona njalo mayelana nodaba lwevidiyo lakhe leli kade bekhuluma ngalo-ke ithimba labeshushisi bethi bangathanda ukuthi bayitshengise la ngaphambi kungusenkantolo-ke bathi kwividiyo yakhona asizwa awukho umsindo ozwakalayo-ke ngemuva kwevidiyo yakhona-ke kepha sibona nje umuntu eyihambela-ke lapho-ke futhi abanasiqiniseko ukuthi ngabe ulongwe loyo-ke noma akusiyenakho ulongwe futhi wabuya bakhuluma futhi bathi khona njalo malana nodaba lwevidiyo-ke leyo-ke asiyazi ukuthi ubani owathubula ividiyo yakhona-ke ngaphansi kwesimo esinjani-ke futhi ethubula kuphi-ke ividiyo yakhona-ke futhi azikho iy'tatimende ezabhalwa ngaphansi kohlelo lwafidaviti eyihambisana nohlelo lwevidiyo yakhona-ke lapho-ke futhi basho khona bathi uDr Ali-ke lapho uDr Bheli-ke lapho-ke wakhuluma nokuthi akanalo ulwazi lokuthi yini eyenzeka ngaphakathi kwalo muzi loyana ngelanga lange-26 futhi ngelanga lange-27 ngoba kade angekho la eNingizimu Afrika kade ahambile kumsebenzi sebenzela kwizwe laseShayina-ke lapho-ke ngesikhathi sakade ekhuluma ngevidiyo lena-ke futhi washo khona njalo thina akanalo ulwazi lwale vidiyo lena ukuthi ngabe ubani okhona kule vidiyo lena futhi ukuthi bathubula kuphi-ke nendawo kade futhi ubani kade akhona-ke ngaphakathi kule vidiyo leyo-ke bese wakhuluma khona njalo lapho umnumzana uMnisi ngesikhathi wakhuluma-ke inkulumo yakhe eningi lapho-ke waqhubeka washo khona njalo asazi ukuthi ubani uthubula ividiyo yakhona-ke ubani bathathe kuphi ividiyo yakhona futhi ngaphansi kwezimo ezinjani-ke manje kuza kanjani ukuthi ulongwe thwala ngoba usaphila usangakashoni-ke kuza kanjani ukuthi ithimba labashushisi lingambizi ezela ngaphambi kusenkantolo-ke njengofakazi bese ethula ufakazi bakhe-ke lapho-ke bese bambuza imibuzo phecelezi nodaba lwevidiyo uma ngabe sebesitshengisana lana kulesikhangiso lesi suthi sakamabonakude-ke lapho-ke washo khona njalo ukuthi ngeke bakhone ukuthi babuzeke lapho-ke ubaba uBrigadier Gininda ngofakazi bale vidiyo leyana-ke ngoba-ke lapho-ke yena-ke akanalo ulwazi lwevidiyo yakhona ukuthi ngobani obathatha ividiyo bathi kuphi kepha umuntu angasilekelela phecelezi nodaba lwevidiyo leyo-ke bathi ulonge thwala-ke lapho-ke bese wabuya futhi wakhuluma-ke lapho-ke umnumzana uRamsepili naye-ke ngesikhathi bekakhuluma bekahambisana nenkulumo bethule-ke lapho-ke umnumzana uMnisi-ke lapho-ke washo naye washo ocishe kwafana-ke ngamashini alokhu akhulumile lapho-ke umnumzana uMnisi-ke okuwukuthi ividiyo yakhona-ke asazi ukuthi bathatha nini-ke futhi wathatha kuphi-ke nendawo futhi ubani okhona-ke ngaphakathi kule vidiyo yakhona-ke futhi nabantu abamelele nomuntu amela ngaphambi kwenkosi enkantolo-ke ushilo ukuthi akamazi lo muntu abamtshengisile kule vidiyo ukuthi ubani-ke lapho-ke futhi nenkosi enkantolo ayazi ukuthi ubani-ke okhona ngaphakathi kule vidiyo yakhona-ke lapho-ke Kepha umnumzana uBrigadier Ginina angeke akhone ukukhuluma ngento anganalo ulwazi layo ke futhi isikhangiso sale video dlala ke imizuzwana ewu34 ke lapho ke futhi washo kwenza ukuthi udokotela ngesikhathi bekathola amaphepha ke lawo bathola ngelanga la nge10 ka October ke lapho ke ngemuva kokuthi le video lesesele beyithathile ke lapho ke futhi ade besola ukuthi video khona bayithatha ngelanga la nge27 ka October la kade khona ke ulongo ehamba kahle ke futhi bekangena lutho enyaweni lakhe ke ngemuva ukuthi bathi khona ke la abadubuleka khona ke nangesikhathi isathe kudutshula lapha kule ndawo lena yesigameko esiphakama futhi khona njalo ke lapho kumnumzana lapho unqumalo naye uthi ahambisana ke nenkulumo yabameli abayikhulumile ukuthi umnumzana akho Brigadier Ginina angeke akhona ukuletha ufakazi bakhe kumayelana nevideo lena ke isithimba labashoshisi abakhuluma ngayo ngoba ke abukho ufakazi obuhambisana nevideo ukusitshengisa ukuthi ivideo bayithubula kuphi ke nendawo bayithubula kuphi futhi athutshula ubanike lapho ke usho ufakazi obhaliwe ngaphansi kodaba lwesifungo sokuthi ama-affidavit abhaliwe lapho ke ahambisana nenkulumo yale video noma mhlawumbe aphelekeza ke ivideo khona la isitshela khona ukuthi video athutshula umuntu othizeni wakuphi nendawo uhlala ngaphansi kwekhilili phike lapho ke wayithubula kuphi ke nendawo futhi wakhuluma khona njalo ukuthi lapho ke futhi washo khona njalo naye ukuthi lapho ke umuntu amele umnumzana Maphisa uthi naye akayazi ukuthi ubani ke lomlisa ujakala ngaphakathi kula video lena kusho lo muntu bamthubuleke lapho ke ivideo yakhona ke bathi abazi ukuthi ubani ke lo futhi akukho ama statement athathiwe lapho ke aphelekeza ivideo lena ke basitshela lapho ukuthi ivideo bayithubula kuphi ke nendawo kanjani futhi ngaphansi kwezimo ezinjani yilokho kade bekhuluma ngako ke lapho ke.
Any response, Mr. Chair?
As you could please, my lord. I think it's crucial to distinguish between two concepts. The first one is relevance, and the second one is the weight to be attached to the evidence. And I think what my colleagues have put emphasis on is the weight to be attached to the evidence. But the first hurdle, my lord, is relevance. Evidence can only be admitted if it's relevant. And at this point in time, the question is whether is the evidence relevant? And we submit, my lord, that it is relevant. The court has previously referred to section 210 of the Criminal Procedure Act, which reads that no evidence as to any fact, matter, or thing shall be admissible which is irrelevant or immaterial and which cannot conduce to prove or disprove any point of fact in issue in criminal proceedings. Now, we have argued in the past, my lord, that we have facts that are in issue, and the Latin term that is sometimes used is the facta probandum, and you have facta probantia. You know, those are the facts that you use to prove the facts that are in dispute. Now, you can only lead a fact to prove a fact that is in dispute if that fact is relevant. And we submit, my lord, that the evidence is relevant. And I want to deal with the submission of Mr. Ramsipili that this is Section 3 of the Hearsay Evidence Act is not applicable. And I think that aspect was also touched upon by Mr. Nxumalo. The fact is this, you can have real evidence, which is the footage itself, but if you want to prove the contents of that footage, that becomes documentary evidence. And I think that is where my learned friends, with the greatest of respect, miss the point. And once you want to prove the contents of a real exhibit, as I indicated, that becomes documentary evidence. And you can only prove documentary evidence through three means: by calling the author. Firstly, the documentary evidence must be relevant. And secondly, you must call the author to prove the contents thereof. And thirdly, you must prove the authenticity of that documentary evidence. And that is precisely, my lord, what the state seeks to do. the court will remember in the olden days when there were illegal gatherings were prohibited. Tape recording is made of the proceedings. Someone would come, a policeman will always come and say, the video will be played, and they'll come and say, so and so on that video, it's accused so and so, and the person on the video is accused so and so, you know. That is when you prove the contents of real evidence. Mr. Numalo questioned as to why the state took long to present the evidence. We have, on the previous occasion, my lord, indicated that there's a certain procedure that you must follow if you want to tender evidence from media houses. We indicated, my lord, that there's an agreement between South African National Editors Forum and the law enforcement agencies that you have to follow a certain process if you issue a subpoena. And we did indicate in this court, my lord, that we started this process as far back as December 2024 in securing the subpoena, because the subpoena must be authorized by the National Director of Public Prosecutions, and thereafter the matter then goes to a local magistrate in Boksburg, and a subpoena is then issued. That is the route that we followed in the current instance. As far as the submissions of Advocate Nisi are concerned, I think we did indicate, my lord, that we're not really pursuing the issue of the dentist any further. I thought the matter will then be left at that. But he also, with the greatest respect, my lord, submitted that there was also this obfuscation between relevance and the weight to be attached to the evidence. And I think, with the greatest of respect, Advocate Nisi was arguing the weight that should be attached to the evidence. He mentioned that Mr. Bailey states in the affidavit that he bears no knowledge of the events. He was in China, but it's not about that, my lord. It's about the authenticity and reliability of the footage, and that's where Mr. Bailey comes in.
Sorry, is he the person in charge?
He's the news editor.
The news editor.
Yeah, he's the news editor at ENCA, under whose custody the material is archived. Mm-hmm. And again, to deal with the issue that was raised by Mr. Ramasipel, as well as Advocate Nisi, about the fact that this evidence that can be of no assistance to the court, except if Mr. Longotwala is called. Well, two submissions in this regard. Firstly, a matter is decided on direct evidence or also on circumstantial evidence. And there's nothing that debars Brigadier Gininda if he can identify a person on a video to state as to who that person is. We've just been through that exercise, my lord, with the photos, where the witness would look at the photo and state what they can observe on the photos. That's perfectly permissible, my lord. But as to the question as to why the state is not calling Mr. Longotwala, My Lord, the state doesn't have to call every witness whose name appears on the on the list. If at the conclusion of the state case a witness is not called, it's up to the defense to call that witness. We therefore submit, my Lord, that the footage is relevant, and we have sketched the background as to why it is relevant, the proposition that was made by Mr. Mgumezulu, and that it should therefore be admitted as evidence at this point, subject to the proviso that we've mentioned in subsection 3 of the Evidence Act, my Lord. This is as far as we can take our submissions, my Lord.
Yeah, but just for fulsomeness, the court has still got to decide, I'm with you, to decide whether it is in the interest of justice. Is that not a supervening ratio in the
Yes,
in
well,
section 3?
yes. Well, if for whatever reason that witness is not available, the court then can, in the interest of justice, decide to admit such evidence.
But still, the defense can argue that that evidence is prejudicial or it is not in the interest of justice. Is that not so?
Well, they can do that.
Yeah,
but that will be at the end.
That's it.
Yeah, at the end of the case,
In the
you
case,
know,
yeah.
about the weight that should be attached to the
Yeah, fine.
evidence. But at this point, the question is the evidence relevant?
And as far as Longo is concerned, if the state doesn't call him,
Well,
the law says you must advise the state,
the defense. Yes.
that you're not going to call him, and then the defense can use him if they
Yes.
want to.
Yes, indeed, my Lord. That is the legal position.
Yeah, but my interest, okay, fine. Are you through?
Yes, I'm through.
What is the status of this Exhibit SE, Mr. Nisi? The report of the doctor, what is the status?
Thank you, Madam.
Because I hear you arguing about evidence,
Yes.
so I want to know, what is the status of this document?
I requested that should be admitted as an exhibit, and it got admitted as SE. We have to hear from the state whether they are disputing the content of this report, in which event, then in our case, when we conduct our case, if we actually come to that stage, because I've got a strong feeling that we'll never even get there, we will then try to decipher whether or not to call this witness, my Lord.
Which
But
one?
I haven't had an indication from the state that they're
No, the state
disputing the
wanted to call
content.
the Dr. Ali. Did you want to do that? Yes. That's why I'm asking.
As I've said, my Lord, Dr. Ali
Is
is a
your
witness.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they can't
Yes.
get away from the fact that Dr.
Yes.
Ali is the defense's witness.
Yes, my Lord.
But you see, you have presented a document
Yes, my
by
Lord.
Dr. Ali.
Yes.
It was not handed in through the evidence of Dr. Ali. Are you with me?
That is so, my
That's
Lord.
it.
Yes.
Now, as far as this court is concerned, this document is not before it. Am I correct? Because this is Dr. Ali's document.
No, the document is provisionally before court, my
You
Lord.
didn't say that. You didn't say that.
In the, I thought the court would
No, no.
basically be very proactive in that
I'm aware
regard.
of everything.
Yes,
That's why I say it's different if Dr. Ali makes an affidavit.
yes.
I'm a doctor, blah, 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 and he hands it in.
Thank you, my Lord.
But as it is, what is the status of this document?
It's not a train smash,
Is
my
it
Lord.
evidence? It's admissible evidence at this stage?
My Lord, the document contains issues that were put to the witness relating to the teeth. Yes.
Whose
So,
evidence is that, Dr. Alice?
no, that was the evidence of Mabasa.
Yeah, fine.
Yes.
And how do you counter it? By presenting this document. I heard you say to the witness yesterday, in your layman's opinion.
Yes,
Fine.
yes.
Okay, I'll make a ruling, but I'm just making aware. This document has not been properly handed up
Thank you, my lord. Thank you.
because that's not a way to hand up documents.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you.
Yeah, and then the other thing, Mr. Ramasepedi, you're saying it's not in the interest of justice for this court to view the clip. It's not in the interest of justice. Or actually you're saying the Evidence Act doesn't allow that.
My lord, I'm interpreting.
Let's start here. Does the Evidence Act allow such a procedure?
My submission is that it does not, my lord.
It does not.
It does not.
Which section is that?
Section 3,
Read it.
subsection.
Yeah, read it.
Your CPA. You must put on your specs if the right is too small. What is it? Yeah, section 3, subsection 2, 3. Yeah, my eyesight is bad. It says, my lord, section 3, sub 3. Hearsay evidence may be provisionally admitted in terms of subsections 1, sub B, if the court is informed that the person upon whose credibility the probative value of such evidence depends will himself testify at such sorry, my lord, I said this best, will himself testify in such proceedings, provided that if such person does not testify in such proceedings, the hearsay evidence shall be left out of account unless the hearsay evidence is admitted in terms of paragraph. What paragraph is this? No, I can't see. In terms of
Page.
Paragraph A,
H.
small letter A
Yeah.
of subsection 1.
Yes.
Yeah, what does it say? That's paragraph H, subsection.
You don't have the CPA. Sub H. This page, yeah.
Doesn't it say if it's in the interest of justice, this court can provisionally allow that evidence? And subsequently, if that witness doesn't turn up,
Then it's
then
not
the
possible.
court can revisit.
Yes.
Yeah, so where's the prejudice for your clients?
My lord, the two riders are, the court is quite correct. The one rider is the interest of justice. The other rider is the probative value. What probative value does
I don't know.
this evidence?
The state will have to argue that. I don't know.
That's the other thing, my lord, that you are not told the probative value. Hence, in my submission said it doesn't help the state.
But I take it the
to
state,
argue hearsay
the state won't just call, this judge puts it like this.
I'm sorry, my lord.
I said that the judge putting it, you don't call a motley of evidence for the judge to see what to do with it. If the state calls any evidence, it must be for a specific reason. So when Mr. Baloyi or Dr. Sibanda call evidence before this court, it must be typified by the fact that it's in pursuance of the case we're dealing with.
I understand the court, but my lord, why will there then be inadmissible evidence?
Which evidence is inadmissible now?
If the court says they are bringing each and every evidence to court for a particular reason, there's some of the evidence that's been ruled inadmissible, but they brought it anyway.
Yeah, sometimes you do rule it out.
Yes. But my lord, as well, before I finish on this point, Advocate Baloyi addressed the court on relevance, and it's quite correct. But if we go to, the cases on relevance, Katz, Zuma, Torpedo on dog attacks and dog tracking, whatever, we are not saying that the evidence is not relevant,
What are you saying then?
my lord. There's a distinction.
Because the state is basically saying, wait, that evidence is relevant. And now you're telling me we are not saying that evidence is not relevant.
My lord, it's how evidence is procured and brought before court.
He says he's got a subpoena which he has served in terms of an agreement apparently which the South African police have with the news agencies.
Yes.
So that's how he says Bailey comes into the picture to authenticate.
Because the other misnomer that I had, my lord, from the response to my learned colleague was that this is documentary evidence. But if we read the two Balekas, where Van Dijkhoff clearly says we mustn't confuse video footage evidence with documentary evidence, because on the latter, which is the video footage evidence, the best evidence rule does not even come, because you can introduce a copy if, for instance, the original has been lost, as long as also it can be authenticated as to originality. Authenticity goes only to weight money. So we mustn't, according to the Balekas, that's what it says. That's the court pieces, my lord. Those are my submissions.
Yeah, having listened to the submissions and the counter submissions by the state, by the defense, I'm of the view that if the state argues that the evidence which it wants to lead now is relevant, then this court cannot deny the state to lead that evidence. Because the defense, in any event, if it feels it is prejudiced, they can cross-examine on the basis of the evidence being inadmissible. So consequently, the application is granted.
Besho khona njalo isinqumo sekusenkantolo mana lodaba lokade abameli belidikida futhi ohlanga nethimba labashushisi ke lapho ke lethi uma ngaba ke thimba labashushisi libona ukuthi kufanele ukuthi balethe ufakazi lobo abafisa babuletheke lapho ke ithimba labameli benu ke luthola isikhathi esisanele sokuthi zeni babuye futhi ke babuza imibuzo mayelana nofakazi lobo isihlangothi labashushisi ababulethayo manje ke lehambisana nethimba labashushisi thizini ithimba abashushisi ke iselaqhubeka ke lenza lo letha lofakazi lobo bafisa ukuthi babulethe.
So we didn't take the normal short adjournment. Are we proceeding or are we
What
going
time
to?
is it now?
It's 11:25.
Yeah, let's come back at 12. No? Sorry, it's at quarter to 12.
Umnumzana uLongwe Thwala.
I've met him a lot during the course of the investigation, and the last time it was when he was consulting with the state advocate at the DPP's office here in Pretoria.
Athi wahlangana ke ngesikhathi lesi kade besenza kusesha kwecala ke labo ke lapho ke futhi obewahlangana ogcina ehlangana naye wahlangana naye ngaphakathi komahhovisi abashushisi ke lapho ke la ePitoli.
The state is going to request that video footage be handed up as an exhibit the Exhibit 8. Now, there's also on the video footage, there's a,
The state is requesting, we don't object to that, but the state needs to be very specific. Is this a provisional handing in of the video or what?
well, my lord, we have already addressed the issues. It's the, it's subject to the footage being confirmed by Mr. Bailey.
So what is it, my lord? Is it a provisional handing or what? Because in law, we don't have something like, in the hearsay evidence that the state referred to, we don't have something like subject to. So we want to know if it's a provisional handing in of the video or what? That's all what we want to know, my lord. We don't want a lot.
No, as I listened to Mr. Baloyi,
Yes.
the certificate of authenticity is going to be deposed to or to be handed up through the ages of Bailey. Am I correct, sir?
Yes, indeed, my lord.
That's how I understand evidence.
Yes.
Bailey is going to say, I am a coach of Kaizer Chiefs. I was there when Rata Mokhatleng lost his eye. That's all he's going to say.
Yes. Indeed,
Yeah.
my lord.
Masicela lapho kwa-advocate balo ukuthi i-video footage inkosi enkantolo iyamukele laphambi kwayo njengofakazi noma njengombukiso ebufakazi.
So is it he wants to know, is it provisional or final?
Well, my lord, it will be final once the authenticity thereof is confirmed.
Okay.
So if advocate Nisi wants us to use the word provisional, yes, indeed, my lord.
Okay, fine.
And it's also just shown on the screen.
Sorry, and Brigadier Gininda can be cross-examined on that.
Yes, yes,
Video.
indeed,
It's evidence, although it's provisionally admitted according to you.
yes. Right, Brigadier Gininda, there's also on the footage, there's a lady that's depicted there. Are you able to recognize the lady?
That is correct, my lord. That is Miss Zandi Kumalo.
Bathi khona-ke kule video footage umnumzane ubrigadier Gininda khona-ke usimama ngabe uyakhona ukumbona into yosimama ukuthi ubanika athi yebo kunjalo-ke athi uZandi Khumalo.
There's also a vehicle depicted on the footage. Are you able to identify the vehicle?
Indeed, my lord, yes. It is a vehicle it's a BMW X6 that was belonging to the deceased. It's his vehicle that he had then.
Bathi khona-ke imoto khona-ke ngabe imoto lakhona ukuyibona yini athi yebo ngiyakhona ukuyibona-ke athi imoto yakhona i-BMW X6 kade-ke umuntu-ke kamufi-ke leyo.
And are you able to comment regarding the movement or the gait of the person that you've identified as Mr. Longo Twala?
Well, yes, my lord. He seems to be working fine, contrary to what was put to me, that he may, or that where I was told that he was limping and there was a shooting and on the ankle. So that's what I see on the footage. It's not an indication of someone who sustained an injury, particularly a bullet wound injury on the ankle. I don't think someone would walk like that, in my view, my lord.
bathi uyakhona ukukhuluma ngendlela lo muntu ahamba ngayo khona ke sikhanyisa sevideo athi yebo nakhona ukubonakala lapho-ke athi kepha-ke kunodaba la nodaba lokhu ukuthi mayelana nenkulumo abamtshela ukuthi lo muntu lwakahambi kahle-ke uyisikhwala-ke lapho-ke athi cha ayikho lento leyo mayelana nendlela ufakazi abone ngayo lo muntu okhona kule video lena-ke athi umuntu oyihambela kahle-ke futhi ongaqhwali uma ngabe ehamba.
As an investigative officer in this matter, are you able to identify the house where the footage is depicted?
Indeed, yes. That is the house, the 1335 Kutwano Street, the crime scene, my lord. That is the house where the deceased was shot, and that is the house that belongs to the Kumalos in Fostoras.
Bathi mina nomuzi okhona-ke lapho-ke ngabe yakhona yini ukubona athi yebo-ke ngakhona-ke ukubona umuzi lapha-ke eKutwano Street lapho-ke number 1335 la umuzi komndeni wakwaKhumalo la kwadutshuka khona-ke umufi bese washonela khona.
And looking at the contents of the video, are you able to, as an investigating officer, to identify the occasion?
My lord, my understanding, although there's no date there, if one follow the sequence of the events and my understanding of the request that was put to NCA from the state side was that it was a request for the video or activities of the 27th of October 2014. That is now the day in which, that is the following day subsequent to the incident taking place, the murder now of the deceased.
Athi nanoma kule video lingabhaliwe ilanga layo ke lapho-ke kepha-ke athi mana nesicelo esenziwa kukuthi ocela ukuthi mayelana nokuhamba noma mhlawumbe noma mayelana nezinto-ke ekade senzeka lapho ngelanga lange-27 zika-October ngomnyaka 2014 ilanga elilama ilanga leli kade khona ngalo isigameko.
So based on that, my lord, I will put then the date of the 27th of October 2014 during the day, because one can see that was during the day and the incident would have taken place at night, according to the docket, my lord.
Athi lapho-ke yena ngasho ukuthi ilanga lake-27 ke leli kade lithule ividiyo leli ngalo-ke lapho-ke ngoba-ke isigameko senzeka ngelanga lange-26 ngesikhathi sebusuku futhi lathi kusemini okuthi yakhona ubona ukuthi khona ilanga kade likhona-ke likhanyisile ngaphandle kade kusemini.
And can you just maybe just briefly describe this person that you say it's Mr. Longwetwala on the video, the clothing, his appearance?
My lord, what I recall is wearing a jean, he's wearing a cap and a long sleeve, some form of a t-shirt. That's my recollection of what I saw on the video. And he seems to be walking, and he's walking actually quite fast than someone who will be walking slow or with an injury. He's moving quite fast on that footage, my lord, on that video footage.
Bathi cela ke ukuthi bawubheketeke nesitshele mayelana nesikhangiso-ke salo muntu okhona-ke ngaphakathi kwevidiyo lena-ke ukuthi ngabe mhlawumbe umuntu ogqoke yini-ke lapho-ke ingubo zakazigqokile athi umuntu ogqoke isikhindi sejini-ke lapho-ke ikhephu kuyena-ke futhi neskipa-ke lapho-ke eside-ke lapho-ke la ezandleni zakhe-ke athi futhi umuntu oshakala ehamba-ke ngokugijima noma mhlawumbe ngokushesha-ke futhi akahambi njengomuntu olimele.
The t-shirt, my lord, the long sleeve t-shirt, it has blue stripes, like it's blue on the arms and gray in the body, back and front, my lord.
Athi-ke malana nodaba lolu lesikipa esigqoke ngumuntu na-ke athi sinemibala emibili-ke athi la ezandleni zakhe umuntu sinumbala oblue bese la kusona-ke athi sinumbala ogreen.
And the cap is black with white markings in front.
Athi bese-ke ikhepha egqokile-ke ikhepha lombala omnyama-ke futhi baphe ngombala omhlophe la kulona-ke.
That's the description of the clothing, my lord, that I'm able to see.
Athi izona-ke ingubo lezi angakhona ukuthi sitshele ngazo-ke ayibonayo.
Now, what would your comment then be on this proposition that has already been placed on record, that was put by Mr. Mgomezulu on the 28th of August 2024, page 11?
So is that now the proposed?
Yeah, I will just show you the extract of the proceedings of the 28th of August 2024, page 11.
Bathe khona kusicelo lapho esenzeka ngaphambi kwesenkantolo-ke ngelanga lange-28 zaka-August ngomnyaka 2024 phakathi kwenkulumo eqhamuka lapho-ke kumnumzane uNgomezulu bathi manje ufakazi angathanda ukuthi akhulume mayelana nodaba lolu olunkulumo.
From line 20.
bathi kumugqa wamashumi amabili lapho-ke.
You can maybe just, for the purpose of the record, you can just read that again in the record.
All right, my lord. So it starts from Mr. Mngomezulu. All right, let me put this version to you. According to those witnesses that I do not want to disclose at this stage, 3 shots were fired. 1 shot is the one that caused injury to Zandi on her leg. The other shot is the one that Longwe Twala shot himself on the leg while they were struggling for the gun. The third one is the one that shot Senzo Meiwa, but I am not mentioning them according to the sequence of how they happened. I mean, all these 3 shots, they caused injury to Zandi. The one was stuck in the ankle of Longwe Twala, and the other one is the one that shot Senzo dead. Do you have any? Then it says intervene, my lord.
Ate efunda-ke ubaba uBrigadier Ginina mara nodaba lonkulumo elasicelela lapho kumugqa was 20 lapho amashumi amabili-ke ngelanga lange-20 August 2014 la khona kade khona ke inkulumo ekhuleka lapho uMnumzane Mngomezulu athi alright athi kepha ngiyakutshela ke lenkulumo hlangothi lenkulumo ke ukuthi ke khona abofakazi ngeke abakhulume ngamagama noma abasho kwesikhathi lesikade ekhuluma lenkulumo ngayo ke athi lapho badubula ikhathi ezintathu mhlawumbe amahlandla amathathu ke lapho ke ukuzama inhlamvu yoqala ke lapho ke iyona ke limaza uZandi lapho ke onyaweni lakhe ke bese ke enye futhi ke lapho yalimaza khona ke uLongwe ngesikhathi kade benquzulisana ngesikhathi esikade noma kade besukulisana ke ngesibhamu leso-ke bese athi esithathu ke yona ke yadubula lapho ke uSenzo kepha ke thina akasho ngendlela isigameko esenzeka ngakhona-ke noma izinto ezenzeka ngakhona-ke lapho-ke futhi waqhubeka washo khona njalo ukuthi lapho-ke uma ngabe ekhuluma kanjalo-ke akasho ukuthi lokhu kwenzeka ukuthi ngale ndlela akubize ngayo-ke athi lapho-ke khona uZandi walimala onyaweni lakhe-ke futhi uLongwe Twala walimala onyaweni lakhe-ke lapho-ke bese-ke lapho-ke uSenzo washona-ke athi ngabe uzwile bese bakhona ukuphazamisa kade khona-ke lapho.
Yes, my lord.
What is now your comment, having seen the video footage and the proposition?
Yeah, my lord, it doesn't correlate. If one, with greatest respect to the late Mr. Mngomezulu, if one has to take into account what he's saying, and one has to look at the video footage of the person who may have shot himself, according to his version, the previous day, it doesn't correlate. But it doesn't end there. Maybe you must just, it doesn't end there, my lord. I'll narrate on the others.
Umnumzane bakuBrigadier Ginina mara nodaba lwenkulumo yaqhamuka ikhulumeke wasele washona kathi ngokukhulu kokuhlonipha lo sele washona ke baboMngomezulu ke mara nenkulumo ekhulumile kulolu daba lolu kade usicela la ngaphambi kungosenkantolo uma iqhathanisa naloko akubonile la lesikhangiso sale video athi akahambisani futhi uzobuya asho izathi zakhe kungani kungahambisani athi lo muntu le video wathi nge-27 bese sigameko nge-26 athi umuntu odutshulwe nge-26 angeke aze ahambe njengalo muntu ojenga la khona ngala.
Now, my lord, in this quote that I just read now, a mention is made of witnesses whom Mr. Mngomezulu says he will call. Now, insofar as the docket is concerned, and I'm basing this on the docket because I don't have anything else, it's the docket and it's the investigation. The people who were in the house with the deceased, all of them disposed a statement, and none of them says Longwe Twala shot himself while he was struggling with the deceased. None of them. And I'm talking about the people who were direct witnesses and with the deceased when this incident took place. None of them are saying something contrary to that, and none of them did not dispose an affidavit of what they saw on the day of the incident.
Athi-ke laba khulumeke ngabofakazi la angawabizile amagama wabo-ke lapho-ke uMnumzane Mngomezulu ngesikhathi bakhulumeka inkulumo yakhe-ke lapho-ke kepha uMnumzane Brigadier Ginina uyakusho khona kokulandelayo kuwukuthi mayelana ngesikhathi sakhe senza-ke ukusesha kwecala futhi aphenya athi okuqukethwe ngaphakathi kwedocket athi akukho lababhale khona-ke ukuthi umnumzana uLongethwala wayidubula onyaweni lakhe-ke ngesikhathi ade bejijisana-ke ngesibhamu-ke lapho-ke futhi athi bonkana bufakazi ade bekhona ngesikhathi lesi ade senzeka udlame ade senzeka isigameko phakathi kwalo muzi-ke athi babhalile-ke iy'tatimende zabo futhi nabo ngaphakathi kwey'tatimende zabo-ke athi le nkulumo le yakhulunywa umnumzana uMngomezulu athi ayikho ngaphakathi kwey'tatimende zabofakazi ade bekhona ngaphakathi kwalekhaya nakwakhumalo.
And that, my lord, include Mr. Longethwala himself. His affidavit speaks of the intruders, not him shooting himself or fighting with the deceased.
Athi futhi lokho kuhambisana nenkulumo eyakhulunywa-ke umnumzana uLongethwala ngesikhathi lesi kade bhala-ke i-affidavit yakhe-ke lapho-ke athi abantu abadubula lapho-ke igebengu yena akakaze asho ukuthi yena wayidubula onyaweni lakhe.
Now, the closest people closer to the witnesses who were inside the house, my lord, and when I say people, I'm referring to the witnesses who then witnessed some commotion during the commission of this offense, are the Ngashes who were next door, who were the next door neighbors of the house. That is now the Ngashe senior, and in my recollection, it's his son. Even then, my lord, nowhere do they say they saw this commotion. And I'm moving from the point of witnesses, because what I'm struggling to find, my lord, or to make sense of, is who will this witness be? Because the people who were inside the house, none of them are giving this assertion. The neighbors, and that is now the Ngashes. And once I'm done with the Ngashes, then I will go to the people who were sitting outside the house, who saw people running out, and I will go into the issues of Magaleng without having to repeat my evidence, my lord. None of them are making this assertion except to give an indication that there may be intruders. Now that makes it difficult for me to understand as to where will these witnesses now come from, because everyone that was closer is accounted for, and they are giving a version of intruders, my lord.
Athi-ke lapho uma ngabe qhubeka nenkulumo yakhe khona-ke abahlala eduze nakhona kwalo muzi lana-ke lapho-ke athi lapho-ke udaba lwabo-ke lapho-ke udaba lwabo labahlala eduze komuzi wakwakhumalo-ke lapho-ke athi umndeni akwaNgasheke lapho ubaba khona futhi nengane yakhe-ke lapho-ke athi nabo abakaze bakhulume ngale nkulumo yakhulunywa lapho umnumzane uMngomezulu-ke noma bahambisane nenkulumo yakhe abayikhuluma lapho-ke athi nabo lapho-ke labo-ke bathi wangena-ke lapho-ke igilamkhuba mhlawumbe igebengu-ke lapho-ke ngesikhathi lesi kade kusenzeka udlame lolu noma mhlawumbe ngithi isigameko ngesikhathi kade senzeka lapho-ke athi futhi uzohamba mayelana nodaba lofakazi lobu anabo-ke ngaphakathi kwedokhethi noma ufakazi owakuthola ngesikhathi ade sesha icala leli-ke lapho-ke athi ngesikhathi kade athatha ama-statement wabantu labo akukho labakhulumile phecelezi ngale nkulumo le umnumzana uMngomezulu akhulume ngayo-ke athi futhi uma ngabe ekhuluma ngabofakazi bakhe-ke lapho ngabe abobani-ke abofakazi labo kade azama ukukhuluma ngabo lapho umnumzana uMngomezulu-ke ngoba abantu ade bekhona ngaphakathi kwalo muzi lana ngesikhathi kade kusenzeka-ke ngithi isigameko lesi-ke yilaba yena akhulume ngabo athi ibona ama-statement wabo futhi bonkana abakaze bakhulume ngale nkulumo ubaba uMngomezulu awayikhuluma.
Further to that, my lord, the blood samples of blood that was found at the crime scene, because subsequent to the shooting, the forensic team were called, that is now the LCRC, insofar as the managing of the scene. Now, blood that was found at the scene, after the analysis, what we have, that blood is linked to the deceased. There is no indication that there is a blood that is linked to Mr. Longethwala, or rather a blood of a person that is unknown who may have shot himself. I mean, if one look at, for example, the position of where the deceased was shot, he was shot on the chest, but his blood was found in the scene. If one looks at the narrative or the version that has been given by the late Mr. Mngomezulu, Mr. Twala shot himself on the ankle. So for me, logic dictates that that is closer to the ground. So some blood would have been found, particularly, you know, that he was around here for quite some time, including the keeping of the statement. But there is no blood, my lord, that was found at the crime scene, which indicates that it belongs to Mr. Longethwala, or it belongs to an unknown person if it's not in the database, in the database, my lord, of the forensic team.
Athi-ke lapho-ke ngesikhathi ngemuva ukuthi kwenzeke lapho-ke isigameko lapho-ke kwakukhona abantu abafika-ke lapho-ke abantu baqhamuka lapho ngaphansi kwase-forensic-ke lapho-ke yilaba abathatha imizimba noma mhlawumbe ufakazi kodwa kukhona-ke lapho-ke athi abantu bakhona-ke khona-ke igazi abalithatha-ke lapho-ke ngesikhathi qeda uthatha igazi lakhona-ke lapho-ke bese bahamba bosha ama-test wabo lapho ngesikhathi osha ama-test-ke lapho-ke kulolu gazi abalithola ngaphakathi kwalo muzi-ke kuyigazi lelo baliqhumanisa-ke negazi lakamufi-ke losele washonela lapho-ke futhi asho khona ukuthi umufi wadutshulwa esifubeni sakhe-ke lapho-ke wathi manje malana nenkulumo kababa uMngomezulu awayikhuluma yena-ke kuwukuthi uLokozana uLongwethwala wadutshula lapho-ke onyaweni lakhe-ke bese shuthi inyawo lomuntu vele seduze-ke nalaphansi-ke manje kuza njani ukuthi igazi leli lakhe lingatholakali kule ndawo lena ngaphakathi kwalo muzi ngesikhathi kade senzeka lapho isigameko futhi nangesikhathi ade beyohlola lapho kabakaze basho ukuthi igazi leli igazi lakalongo nomhlawumbe igazi lomunye-ke umuntu-ke lapho-ke athi manje lokhu kuyamdida ukuthi kuza kanjani ukuthi uMngomezulu akhulume ukuthi lapho-ke lokhu akukhulumile mayelana nodaba lokuthi uLongwethwala wadutshulwa naye ngesikhathi ade kusenzeka lo phikisana kwabo noma kade besukulisana ngokuthi isibhamu lesi kade sihamba kanjani kuphike le ndawo.
My Lord, what we also have is that, and I'm pointing these issues, I don't want to prolong because some of these issues I've placed them on record, my Lord, so I don't want to be seen to be repeating my evidence. But what we have also in the investigation that we uncovered is that after the incident, Longwethwala drove the VW Polo, that is red in color, to the hospital. As much as I'm not a doctor, my Lord, but the difficulty I will have to understand is how do you drive a vehicle using your feet with injuries. But what we have is that vehicle was driven from Fostores. It ended up in the hospital, and there was a movement of it driven by him. But even then, my Lord, taking it further, at the hospital, there is no indication of people who were there or someone coming up and saying, I saw Mr. Twala, he was limping, or the doctors tried to attend to him because they saw an injury. There is no such assertion, my Lord, and that is where now the medical assistance, I think for someone who's been shot, might have seeked. Or even if it doesn't seek it, I don't think nurses who are actually trained and mandated, to attend to such, they will see somebody with injuries because there would have been blood. That's, for me, that's common sense, my Lord. And they just leave him. It doesn't get attended. There is no such statement of anyone making such assertions. But even when I went back later, when this assertion was given, to try and get records as to whether was Mr. Longwethwala treated by that hospital, and statements are given. I think I dealt with them, my Lord, in the docket. There is no such record, my Lord, at that hospital.
Ade futhi lapho kafuna ukuthi mhlambe ave amoshe isikhathi lapho ke kepha uma khuluma ngaphecelezi udaba lakwalongwethwala ukuthi yena kwadutshulwa lapho ke athi kumdida ukuthi uLongwethwala kwahamba lapho ngesikhathi bashayela ke eVW Polo ke lapho ke eqhamuka kuleli khaya lela ngemuva ukuthi kwenzeke isigameko lapho ke ehamba isiya esibhedlela ke lapho ke athi ngesikhathi bafika esibhedlela futhi kuza njalo ukuthi umuntu olimele abe seshayela ke imoto lapho ke futhi ulimele ukuziqhwala ke umuntu sakalimele kuza njalo akhone ekuthizini ashayele umuntu usagcina efika ke esibhedlela futhi-ke athi futhi ngesikhathi kade senza uphenyo kwicala lakhe ngemuva ukuthi bakhulume le nkulumo nakhe athi yena-ke wahamba lapho esibhedlela ezama ukuthola noma esesesha noma ephenye ukuthi ngabe uLongwethwala empeleni nangeqiniso wayelimele yini ngesikhathi sakhe lapho esibhedlela ke futhi awekho amanesi awamtshela lutho ngodaba lolu futhi azikho itatimende ezabhalwa ngelutho-ke malana akunalutho olukhona oluqukethe udaba lolu futhi zikhona lapho ama-statement abonesi-ke lapho-ke athi futhi uma ngabe kade kuyiziqhwala futhi alimele futhi efuna igazi ke nakho onyaweni lakhe-ke athi abantu bokusebenza esibhedlela bebangekhe bangamniki usizo lokuqala bebangekhe bangamnaki-ke bebezomnaka bese bamnikeza usizo-ke lapho-ke athi naye kepha-ke wadidwa yile nkulumo ekhulunywa lapho kumnumzane uMngomezulu ukuthi uLongwethwala bekalimele kepha athi ngesikhathi basesha icala lakhe lapho-ke akunalutho oluqhamukile noma oluvelile olutshengisa ukuthi uLongwethwala kade alimele.
Brigadier Ginina, the vehicle that you referred to that was being driven by Mr. Longwethwala, the tracker records thereof have been handed up before this court. Do you remember if the tracker movement show if he returned to the scene on the night of the incident? On the 26th of October?
I think you may have, my Lord, in my recollection. And what I do recall is that the tracker report, if you follow the movement of the car, and that is why I'm saying I know that the investigation revealed that he was driving that vehicle. It's in line also with his cell phone, going to the hospital, back, and I think going to the side and side of Malbertine, Woodland Vista, where they slept, and then him coming back again on the 27th. The following day, and I think that was the day when they were making statements. Still, even on the 27th now, we're moving now from the date of this in 27th, he was still driving the vehicle. And on this particular day, statements were taken from him, Mr. Longwethwala, and it was commissioned by the police. Nowhere do even the police say This man came to give us a statement. He was limping and he saw something unusual. Statements were deposed, commissioned by the police at the police station, but there's no such utterances. This is now the following day, my lord.
Bathi mina nodaba lakuneseka ke le moto ukuthi ishala kumnumzane uLongo ethwala athi khona ke udaba lama tracking record usicela phansi ke kwemoto la ihamba khona ke lapho ke athi yebo bayilethile ngaphambi kwenkosi enkantolo bathi futhi izahambisana ke nocingo lwakhe usho la kade itheka ibe khona yemoto futhi ucingo lwakhe ngalo kade lukhona ke lapho ke uma saxhumanisa sababhekeka lapho ke phakathi kwama cellphone towers ke lapho ke athi ngesikhathi lo ngithwala ke beka ngemuva kwesigameko ukuthi kukhona la wahamba khona kusolala khona ke bese athi yena ke ngelanga ngithi sithi mhlawumbe khona ke mhlawumbe kwenzeka ukuthi zini ugcine futhi kule emuva kulomuzo okwakhumalo noma kulomuzo wesigameko lapho ke athi ke bakhona laba balala khona ke athi khona futhi udaba lo lamafisa ukuthi alikhulume lapho ke athi istatement sakalo ngethwala ke sathathwa abezesiphoyisa noma amaphoyisa ke ngelanga la nge-27 zaka-October ngomnyaka 2014 ke lapho ke athi futhi bese istatement sakho sa-commissioner amaphoyisa ke lapho ke athi amaphoyisa uma ngabe kade uLongo ethwala bekalimele ngokwempela nangeqiniso beyavele bazobona ukuthi yebo lo muntu lo ulimele bese lapho kwazama ukuthi babhale phansi bese bamsizeke lapho ke kephathi mana nodaba lestatement sakhe akukho la babhalile khona ukuthi kade alimele noma kade kuyisiqhwala ngelanga leli bakaphisa noma babhala istatement sakhe.
In the extract that you've just put on record, names of certain medical practitioners are mentioned. Have you followed up that proposition?
Yes, my lord. Yes, we followed it up. I one just will have now to go back because I dealt with it the last time I was here, my lord. But we followed up. I think Dr. Mbatsane passed away in my recollection. But insofar as the hospitals that, other than the private hospital where the deceased was admitted, the close-by hospitals, also no record could be found. Dr. Mbatsane, I think in my recollection, my lord, passed away, and then, but there were no records that one could find to support such. The unfortunate part is that the doctor that was referred to then, he had passed on, my lord, so I couldn't interview him.
Bathi mina nodaba loluke labasebenzi abasebenza mhlawumbe ngaphandle esibhedlela mhlawumbe amanesi lapho noma odokotela ke ngabe khona yini wakuthola athi yebo khona ke wakuthola xa ukuthi mina nodokotela uPhatsane uMbatsane lapho ke kepha ngokucabanga kwakhe ukuthi xa unhlanzile washona ke kepha athi umufi bamthatha bamgijimisa kwisibhedlela esiprivate futhi isibhedlela esimele ke lapho ke athi ngesikhathi beka lapho ke akunalutho olutholile phecelezi ngodaba loluke bese wahamba kwibhedlela ezikhona ade sikhona eduze ke lapho ke futhi isibhedlela zikahulumeni.
Thank you. If we can then just move to another topic, and that is the aerial photos. My lord, we just beg leave to hand up these photos as exhibit ZZZ in brackets 1. We'll also show them on the screen. Now, Brigadier, when were these photos commissioned? The aerial photos?
According to the date, my lord, they were commissioned on the 19th of June 2025. The time it's 09:35.
Athi khona ke ithombe lezi bakhanda basikhuluma ngazo ithombe zale lapha eFosloras ke lapho ke bese umshushi bacela ukuthi inkosi enkantolo ithole ithombe lezi manje sebamthulela zona ke inkosi enkantolo futhi zikhona lesikhangiso lesike kade ngoba ukuthi ngabe ithombe bathula ngaliphi ke ilanga athi ngelanga la nge-19 zakaJune ngonyaka 2025 bese isikhathi lapho ke imizuzu ewu-35 ngemuva kwehora laka-9.
And the commissioning officer, my lord, is Johan Hendrik Frederick Ras. He's a warrant officer from the National Crime Scene Management, my lord, here in Pretoria.
Bathi ke umuntu wakhomishina ke lapho ke usebenza lapho eLokozana bani
Johan.
athi uJohan Hendrik Frederick
Ras.
ngaphansi kokusi Pretoria ekhulu.
Who took the aerial photos?
They were taken by warrant officer Monakedi.
Bathi ubani othobeke ithombe lezo bathi warrant officer Monakedi.
Now, Brigadier Ginida will recall that Advocate Nisi, in his cross-examination, put it to that accused number 1, that you met accused number 1 at a secluded spot in Fosloras.
But ngesikhathi-ke Mnumzane Advocate
I never said a secluded spot at Phosphorus. I never said that.
At Gold Sport, in Phosphorus, and that on the 5th of June 2020, he was taken to the same spot before the pointings out were made.
bathi-ke Mnumzane uMnisi khona-ke inkulumo ekhuluma la kuwena ukuthi yona-ke ngesikhathi buhlangana-ke nomsoro oqala ahlangana kwindawo engajwayelekile-ke lapho-ke engasiwona lapho eFosforus-ke lapho futhi ngelanga lange-5 zakajuni ngesikhathi wenhlangano kwesibili-ke nabe nahlangana kwindawo eyodwa.
That's another misnomer.
Yes.
I never said the gold, at a secluded area at a gold spot. That's a misnomer. I never said that.
As a court, please, Manot. We'll deal with that proposition. If you can just deal with that proposition in light of the aerial photos, starting with.
No, but this is an objection. I am being misquoted. The state cannot say, okay, we'll deal with that proposition, but for now, let us deal with that one. Because state does not have to put an assertion to this witness where I am being misquoted. State must specifically tell this witness what I specifically put to him.
As a court, please, my lord. The first proposition, my lord, Brigadier Gininda testified that he met accused number 1 on the 30th of May 2020 at the parking area in front of the police station. Now, Advocate Nisi then joined issue with Brigadier Gininda. Well, the first proposition was that he met him at a gold spot in a complex that consists of the traffic officers department, the municipal offices, but later on during the evidence, the proposition was then sort of qualified to say it was at a secluded spot or an obscure place. My note that I have here, my lord, is that especially with regard to the pointings out on the 5th of June 2020, says accused says from Villeria after being booked out at 8:01. He says he was driven in the Qashqai Nissan, and that it was Mukhani, Ngamani, Bongani, and they were accompanied by traffic officers. From Villeria, they drove to Phosphorus, where Brigadier Gininda found them with Sergeant Mukhola. At the parking of police station, they assaulted him to pressurize him to agree to pointings out to be done later that day. Say this is the same spot where he was assaulted on the 30th of May 2020. And it is an obscure place. This is my notes that I have, but the original proposition regarding the 30th of May, and that should be on record, that he was taken to this golden spot in the where the as I mentioned, there are these buildings. Traffic department, the municipal area, and Brigadier Gininda then said that this proposition, is being watered down to a certain extent when he gave an explanation, my lord. But say this is on record, my lord. The record will speak for itself.
As it pleases the court, my lord, my only concern is I do not want to be misquoted on what I put to this witness. I am therefore imploring the state to put to their own witness what I put to him.
My Lord, perhaps just to avoid this debate, do you remember what the proposition of Advocate Nis was in this regard?
Indeed, my lord. So my recollection, my lord, of the proposition, because we went forth and back on it, my lord. The first part, and because there are two versions. My version, and that led to the proposition being put to me, was to indicate that I met accused number 1 on the 30th of May 2020 at Phosphorus Police Station, the front parking, and that is where I said I met him and the interview took place. Now,
Athi-ke ufakazi mara nenkulumo le kade ithimba ubabekade ambuza ngayo ukuthi ngesikhathi ngelanga lange-30 zakaMeyi ngonyaka 2020 la wahlangana khona-ke hlangana kokuqala nomnumzane uSibiya kukuphike nendawo athi ngesikhathi bekuhlangana kokuqala-ke kumhlangano wabo nomnumzane uSibiya-ke lapho-ke athi lapho phambili kusakhiwo sesiphoyisa sasephosphorus lapho kuma khona-ke imoto athi ngemuva kokuthi ahlangane naye khona-ke lapho-ke athi kulaqala khona-ke inkulumo yakhe.
Now, my recollection, my lord, is that now fast-tracking to the day of the pointing out now, it was then put to me by Advocate Mnisi that accused 1 was booked from the police station, taken to the same spot. Okay, no. Maybe before I go there, my lord, if I can just have a minute, because I want to marry this thing together. The first proposal, my lord, of the 30th, that is the day when he made a confession, and so that is, we didn't dispute, we didn't argue on that part, except as to whether when we left there, did we first go to Ereton or went to Diepkloof Police Station. The contention or the point of differences was that, according to accused number 1, he was taken directly to Diepkloof Police Station, and I said, we didn't, we went to Ereton first, and then subsequently, by Constable Monitoring, then he was taken to Colonel Mboto. So that is now, that deals with the issues of the 30th of May 2020.
Athi melana mamelana negameko ezenzeka ngelanga lange-30 zakaMeyi ngonyaka 2020 kuwukuthi lapho-ke wathi bathi lapho ngemuva bathi abahlangane khona lapho-ke ngemuva ukuthi benze i-confession lapho-ke bahamba baya-ke lapho-ke eDiepkloof athi cha bakaze bahambe be-Diepkloof-ke naye-ke lapho-ke kepha baqala bahamba baya lapho e-Ereton athi kula bahlangana khona-ke nomnumzana uSergeant Mboto-ke lapho-ke.
And my lord, since we're still on the 30th, I just want to refer Advocate Mnisi to the proceedings of the 3rd of June 2025, page 46, and the following is on record. It's from line 5. So Advocate Mnisi, at some point they then took off an off-ramp that, according to the township of Phosphorus, are we together so far? Then Advocate Mnisi at line 9, thank you. Now, as they drove with him, remember this time you're still not there. As they drove with him, they drove to some municipality area that is known around that place as a golden spot or as gold spot. Apparently, it is a complex that houses the police station, the municipal offices. There are also offices of Home Affairs there, also traffic offices there, but it's just a complex. Then they drove to that spot or that area which is known as Golden Spot. Then line 20. Now they then went to a parking there, was next to the police station, where he then got ordered. He cannot remember who ordered him to alight from the motor vehicle, and he can also remember whether it was a specific instruction that he should sit down or not, but he ultimately ended up sitting down. And page 47, line 2 now. Again, they started to ask him about the death of Senzo, and they said to him, still he was not prepared to tell the truth about what happened and the involvement of the Buthelezi brothers. And then it says, around that spot, as he was seated down, one of the Metro Police then put a plastic bag, a plastic over his face and pressed his back forward or the back part of his body forward so that he could not fall when they pulled that plastic bag over his face. That is the portion that we are referring to, my lord. And if Brigadier Gininda, you can then comment using the photos to that proposition and the allegations that he was taken to the same spot on the 5th of June 2020 before they pointings out.
Yes, my lord. Yeah, but what I want to clear, my lord, perhaps, is that the spot that was mentioned, and that is where I wanted to go to, my lord, that I said we met at the police station. Now, according to the version of accused one, through Advocate Mnisa, of course, he said the vehicle went to the municipality area that houses these different structures, including the police station. And my response then, my lord, was that it cannot be because the police station is independent from this municipality. And we went on, obviously, to the issues of the assault. And I want to go to this critical point where I said, where I met the accused, it's an open parking, and the photos will clearly indicate the one in front of the police station that is wide open. I will not understand on the 5th, particularly because the pointing out was done during the day, that how will the police assault someone there without being seen? That is where now the assertion of saying, and I recall vividly, my lord, to say, but police officers are not stupid, they will not assault him openly. It was a hidden spot where they took him, and that's what led to the pointing out where Advocate Mnisi said, no. After talking to accused number one, he doesn't understand this place. Then we need to have not a pointing out inspection in logo. It was coming from that point of saying the place where he was assaulted, contrary to where we met, was obscured or a hidden place. That's my recollection, my lord.
And that's an objection as well, my lord. I think the state, the witness and the state are busy misleading the court. And so far as this, the witness says, Brigadier Gininda, I said I put him to him, then accused person said that then the more of a vehicle in which they were and then drove around and went into. I never said that. I never said that. I never mentioned a motor vehicle driving around. I said he was taken to. And the state has just read an extract of what I put to this witness. So I was hoping that the state, through that extract, will correct what I was calling me being misquoted, but the state does not do that. And it is there on the record.
Yes, Brigadier, I think just to avoid this back and forth, just comment on this proposition that is on record referring to the photos, the aerial photos.
Okay, my lord.
bathi manje sekelo daba lolu ukuthi sihambe sesiye emuva lapho ke becela umenza Gininda akhulume mayelana nodaba olukhona ke kulethombe lezike ukuthi ngabe mhlawumbe angafisa noma ngathanda akhuluma ashile ngethombe lezi
If you can just orientate the court on the photo starting with page photo. How many photos are there? Just put that on record.
26, my lord.
bathi ngabe singake ithombe ikhona lana kathi 26.
But if one also, my lord, look at the third page, this is now starting from the front, the covering letter. The second one is actually the statement of the photographer. The third page, my lord, it's a key to photographs. So in other words, it described specific, although I will indicate what I recall and what happened on the 30th, my lord. But the key to photographs, in other words, what the photographer says during this aerial exercise, it's actually written there, my lord.
athi lapho ke amakhasi lawo awutholisisi kepha ke ikhasi lokuqala lesibili ke lapho kulaba bhala khona ke inkulumo nje elokuzana ehambisana nodaba lolu ithombe lezike athi kepha ikhasi lesithathu kulaba bhala khona ke ngokukhethekile mayelana nezithombe ethize lezi futhi bayichaze khona ithombe lesi sisho lokho bese nalesi sisho lokho athi uzositshela kabanzi ke ngazo ke uma ngabe sebesitshela zona ke isikhangiso esikhona ngalana ngaphambi kwenkantolo.
Yes.
My lord, so the first photograph number 1, it's an aerial overview of the police station. It's a bit far, but as we move along, it will get closer and closer, for more visibility. But from the distance, one can see the parking, and that parking is the one in front of this police station. But on other photos, we will be able to see a much more closer look, and one will be able to indicate as to where I met accused number 1 and where I met him, in front of the police station, my lord. But basically, in short, it's an aerial overview, and what I see is the police station is the parking, the building next to it is actually the court, and as you go further up, this is now towards your right-hand side. That is where your municipal offices will be, the shops will be. That is now, you'll be moving to the direction of the N3.
If you can just use maybe the pointer to indicate where the police station is, and different points. Yeah, you can take the microphone.
Bekakhuluma khona njalo ufakazi lapho
The microphone.
athi mina nodaba losithombe sokuqala ke lapho ke sikakhuluma ngaso ke lapho ke sikhona ke la ngaphambi kwenkosi enkantolo mhlawumbe lemibukiso ithombe ezikhona ke lapho ke athi isithombe sokuqala esikhona ngalapho ke isithombe salapho ke Fosloras kepha ke isikhumulo samaphoyisa sase Fosloras athi sise asifelile kahle ngokugcwele lapho isithombe sokuqala ke lapho ke athi futhi khona ke parking ekhona ke la kuma khona ke imoto futhi zabonakala lapho ke athi kepha uma ngabe sesijimiza kabanzi kodaba lwethombe ke athi class yobona khona ke nodaba loloke ukubuka lapho esandile esekudla lapho athi khona ke inkantolo futhi aduze police station athi khona inkantolo ke uma weqala lapho inkantolo kuphuka njalo kumgwaqo sehambe phezulu lapho ke athi la khona amabhilidi ka-ofisi kamasipala ke lapho ke athi uma hamba ngomgwaqo lo khona njalo lapho khona nomgwaqo omkhulu kathela kawayeka sukuko ka-NK lapho.
Now, my lord, the parking that I'm seeing relating to the police station is this one. This is the portion, and this main road.
Sorry. Just mark it with your pen. May number it 1, because it's the first issue which you identify. The next issue which you identify, you put 2, just like that. Because if you do it with a laser, it will make sense to people who are looking at it here. But if it goes somewhere else,
I understand.
And that's the right pen.
fine.
Yeah, Brigadier, maybe we can go to photo 3, which is labeled just to make it easier.
Yes.
Acela ukuthi lapho kusithombe bakade solifaka ukuthi lapha akaqaphele nezinto lezi akhuluma ngazo ngaphakathi
From photo 3 onwards.
bese manje umshushisi
Up to photo 6.
ayi kusithombe sesithathu ke lapho ke xa kusithombe sesithathu ukhuphuka njalo sesine sesihlanu sesithupha ke
So photo 3, my lord, is already indexed. Photo 3, this is now on photo 3 under index A. It's already marked on the photo. It indicates the hostel opposite the police station, and that's my recollection of this place, because I did mention that opposite the police station there is a hostel, my lord, and that's what is contained now. And so-
isithombe sesithathu mayelana nodaba lwe-index olukhona ke lana-ke athi sitshengisa lapho ke ihostele eseduze nesikhumulo samaphoyisa
And that would be this portion, my lord.
athi yona-ke le ndawo le kade asitshengisa yona-ke manje athi yona-ke ndawo yakhona ke ihostele
Which hostel is that?
It's not Pasutuni, my lord. I think it's a Mazulini, if I'm not mistaken. But it's not Pasutuni hostel that we spoke about. That's not that one. Pasutuni hostel is further down.
bathi manje ithini igama lale hostele akhona-ke lapho kathiwa akuyona-ke ibasuthini hostele esikhuluma ngayo ke lana-ke ngoba ibasuthini hostele ichelele isedeni kancane kalindawo acala ukuthi mazulini hostele.
Now, B, my lord, indicates the phosphorus port. And I know from here it's a little bit far, but the photos that will actually have a closer look, where the I suppose the helicopter would have gotten closer. So we see this in a much more clearer and closer observation. And it is correct because that's my recollection that next to the police station from the main road, there is a phosphorus court that is still there even today, and it was there then.
Alike lapho kule ndawo esishayisana nayo khona lapho kule phuzu lakabili lapho kathi inkantolo yasephosphorus lapho kathi likashilo futhi ngesikhathi lesi kufaka bakhe-ke ukuthi inkantolo yasephosphorus iseduze nesikhululo samaphoyisa ezokhuluma ngaso-ke.
Now you see. No. Take it. I just want to see C and D. Yes. C, my lord, refers to the police station, and D refers to the municipality area. That is my recollection, but as I said, my lord, this is just the beginning. As we go along, these pictures will become clearer as the pictures, as they get closer to these buildings.
Athi lapho ke kuphuzu lakasiye sikubona ngesikhululo samaphoyisa-ke lapho-ke kepha kuphuzu lakagesi sikubona-ke amahhovisi kamasipala-ke lapho-ke athi kepha-ke eduze asilacinde phakathi esikhangiso lesile kepha uma siqhuba sisihamba sibuka-ke yithombe kula sobona khona kahle magcwele ukuthi ngiyakhuluma ngayo.
Now, in this photo, my lord, this is photo number 4, yes. So, Birman Road, that is Mathematics Birman Road. This is a road that you would take if you go off or on ramp from the entry. You're coming from Johannesburg, going to the Phosphorus, this will be the off ramp that you will take. If my recollection, according to the assertion of Advocate Nisi, if I followed him correctly, when he said accused was put in the car, my recollection is a Ford Ranger, and he saw November 3, and he took the off-ramp, the Phosphorus off-ramp. If that is how I recalled him correctly, then when you take the entry off-ramp, you will be then coming up this way, because entry is further up, you take it, you go off, you turn right, and then you'll be going up, passing the, the buildings that I'll talk to until you get to the municipality area. And then subsequently the court and the police station.
umgwaqo lona ngidima lonke but umgwaqo okhamba lapho kokuxhumana umgwaqo omkhulu kathela kawayela lapho ku-3 athi lapho uxhumana ukuhamba lapho egumile ukushikela lapho edrobheni lapho-ke athi uma kuhamba usala lapho ngasephosphorus athi wona mgwaqo oxhumanisa nephosphorus yona-ke oqhamba lapho komthikathumile ujolele esandleni sokudla-ke lapho-ke athi ungena khona futhi usuvela nezakhiwo lezi kade ngikhuluma ngazo futhi athi unyunga kuninzi lakhuluma khona ukuthi umnumzana usiphila wabona lapho u-N lapho-ke sithi u-N kumele uNovember ngokwenyanga lezo-ke i-N lapho-ke athi wona kumgwaqo lokuxhumana nangidima road.
And one can see clearly, my lord, if you're looking at this Birman Road, you will see further up, there is marked N3. That N3 is the national highway that goes straight to Devon, that is if you're driving to Johannesburg, and vice versa.
Athi lapho kuma ngakukana naphezulu lapho ubona khona kumgwaqo omkhulu lapho umgwaqo kathela kawayeka lapho usho entry komgwaqo lo-ke uma ngabe usushaya lapho ngebholo useke lapho eThekwini athi umgwaqo ovame uthola umsebenzi owunanje noma ukhamba eThekwini ukhuphuka usiya eGoli athi umgwaqo osetshenziswa abantu-ke lo-ke umgwaqo ka-N3.
Now, F, my lord, is a taxi rank. If once you've taken the off-ramp, driving towards the shops, the municipality area, the court, and the police station, you would have then passed the main taxi rank. It's on the left. We will also see it closer as we go along. And that's the main taxi rank I've spoken about. But subsequent to this, there's a mini one where you find the small cars. They just stand on the road. It's called a mapel. I refer to it. But the taxi rank, the main one I refer to, that this is the one. It's structured, it's built properly for taxis, bigger ones.
Athi lapho kulepolisa kuphuzela ka-F athi lapho khona-ke ilenke athi kule lenke yakhona kathi ilenke esikhulu zona imabatekisi layo makhulu-ke lapho-ke athi uma ngabe ungena ngalo mgwaqo lona-ke kulapho ujwayele ukudlula khona eduze neteksi lenke yakhona-ke athi khona isandla sokunene-ke lapho-ke ephathe khona-ke ilenke nje encane lapho-ke evame ukuthi ime lapho into encane kusho ukuthi-ke amaphela-ke lapho-ke uma abela igama lakhona-ke.
Now, my lord, before I get to D, I want to deal with E because it flows correctly from the entry. Because remember, the entry is here, my lord. As you come down with this Birman Road, this will be the taxi rank. There's some building structures that we will find here, but before that, or just after that, E indicates the shops next to the municipal area. So I want to start with E, then I'll go to D, because you actually find E first is when you're moving from the direction of the entry, you will find E, then D, according to this marking. So it's the shops next to the municipality area, moving to the direction of Katlehong, Fosoras police station, then you will find the municipality area, then the court, then the police station, but we're going that sequence. So I'm starting on E instead of D, my lord, because E comes before D, according to the positioning of those buildings.
athile ke phuzo ka athi uthola khona ke izitori eziningi ezahlukene eseduze nesakhiwo lesi samahhovisi kamasipalati lapho-ke athi futhi uma uthola umgwaqo omkhulu kathelakayo ushuku entry-ke lapho-ke athi ukungena ngesambelisi noma ngomgwaqo oxhumana ongena lapho efosorasi khona-ke njalo uxhumana nomgwaqo omkhulu kathelakayo athi la uthola khona-ke lesakhiwo sezitori shopping complex lawo abanye abantu mhlawumbe benze khona-ke imali kuyothenga lawo shophisha khona.
Now then D, my lord, which is now here, D is now the municipality area, and this is the structure that has a number of buildings, and at times it used to have even the local metropolis. It has its own entrance, and once you go into that entrance, you have to exit. There's one way in, there's one way out, and it houses the municipal areas, and there's some offices which I will not know what they are. But that is the structure that you will find in municipal offices, and it's marked as such, my lord. In that structure, or that building, or that enclosure, my lord, there is no South African police building in there. This is simply a municipality area. It's not connected to the police station. You cannot drive in there and end up at the police station. You go in, you go to whatever office you go to, you need to drive out into this Durman Road and turn right. That is if your intention is to go to the police station.
athi-ke kuzweleka athi sona ke sakhiwo lesi samahhovisi kamasipalati la khona-ke athi ukuthi sike kwaba khona-ke lapha isakhiwo leside athi ungena ke lesango mhlawumbe sisango lingapha-ke athi uzophuma kulesi sango lingapha uzophuma lesakhiwo singapha-ke mawuphuma ngalana-ke ungena khona kumgwaqo lapho Durban Road-ke lapho ugqoqa khona-ke athi futhi isakhiwo sakamasipala asixhumene nesakhiwo senkantolo futhi nesakhiwo sesiphoyisa. Isakhiwo sikamasipala-ke yisakhiwo nje simela futhi khona amahhovisi kamasipala-ke akhona la ngaphakathi, kepha ngeke abe nesiqiniseko ngokugcwele ukuthi iwaphi-ke amahhovisi akhona-ke ngaphansi kwesakhiwo sakamasipala.
Yes, if you can just go up a bit, I want to see this next arrows. Yes. So my lord, we've already indicated that D is still far, but we will get closer to go along. That is the Fosoras court. And then C, obviously, is the police station. But the importance of it, my lord, although it's still not clear, we'll get it clearer pictures. This is the main road that comes from the entry, which is further up. So one will see that from the entry, if you take the off-ramp, you'll be coming down this way. You'll be passing the taxi rank, these structures. There is another structure you will see clearer. The municipal offices, which is here, it's independent from the shops. Here is it. Then coming to the court, and one can see that the court is independent from this building. Then you go down to the police station, and one will see later on the clearer pictures, my lord, that the police station, even in the demarcation, my lord, in terms of the wall, it's a standalone building. So you can never mistake the police station to be in the structure or the center of the municipality.
Athi lapho uma sibuka lapho iphuzu lakabili la ngokubili lapho athi lesikosora lesekosora lapho athi futhi sakhiwo lapho esinele sodwa futhi asikhulele nesinye isakhiwo lapho athi uma soza futhi khona iphuzu lakabili lapho athi ukukhulula sesikhulu sakhe ezona ekosora futhi naso-ke isikhulu sesikhulu lakhona esinele isakhiwo saso asikhulele lesakhiwo sikhona ngala sasenkantolo futhi namahhovisi kamasipalati lapho-ke kepha akucacile phakathi ezithombe lezi ukuthi lezi akhiwo ziqhumene kepha khona umgwaqo okhona-ke lapho khona i-Durban Road-ke lapho-ke lapho lo mgwaqo oxhumanisa umgwaqo omkhulu lapho-ke ka-N3 lalapha phezulu-ke nendawo-ke lapho-ke athi ithombe lezi acacile phambi kukhanyile nomhlawumbe athi vele lana azikhanyile iy'thombe lezi-ke kepha-ke uma sesiqhuba sesihambisa phambili athi khona nasibona khona-ke mana phecelezi ngendaba lezi ley'thombe lezi la kathi khona-ke ibhange.
Now, my lord, insofar as the place where I said I met him on the 30th of May 2020, when he was in the Red Court, driven by Sergeant Mukula, it will be the parking here, because the police station is just this building. So in front there's a wall, There will be, which we will see clearer later, there will be a pedestrian crossing, next to it, there's the, that's where the vehicles drive in. So I met him right at the entrance in the police parking, but there are pictures, my lord, which are very, very clear, and I'll be able to show the court exactly where we met.
Mwanza tufakazi uma ngabe sokukala na kule ndawo akade khona le lokule highlight yakhe khona ke lapho ke athi yona ke yona kitchen khona lapho khona ke imoto athi la wafika khona ke nani la ukuthi ngifana noma 2020 ngesikhathi ke hamba umuntu ke muve ke shara lapho sajini khona athi masifika ukuthola izinto ke class khona khona ke katoliba kahle kahle umhlangano wabo wokuqala bahlangana kuphinde yena ke nemizamo.
So God, please, my Lord, will this be an appropriate time to take the long adjournment? It's 2 minutes plus 1.
Okay, let's come back. Oh, okay.
Uyacela umshushisi ukuthi manje inkantolo ikhulisa kancane sana ukuthi kufike ukudla kwasebenzi sisabela ukuthi ke iyafana.
Okay, 2 o'clock.
iya ngesikhathi ngihlakana-ke elangeni labo lokuqala ngihlangana wekamena ngonyaka 2020.
For the purpose of the records, using point A and B, can we indicate which one is point A and which one is B? I'm sorry, C and B and C. C is the police station and B is the First Lawyers Court.
So see the police station, so this, my lord, will be the police station, and then this.
So that will be point,
Phosphorus police station C, my lord, according to the keynote. C indicate Phosphorus police station, that is C. This is not marked, but according to the keynote, it is C. Then the Phosphorus court is marked as B, my lord, and that will be this building.
Athi-ke lapho-ke nana ngokwey'palo zamagama-ke kepha uma ngamukhulana i-point C isikhumulo samaphoyisa sasephosphorus-ke adlapha ngo-B isikhumulo samaphoyisa inkantolo yasephosphorus.
We can move to picture number 10, my lord. Now number 10, my lord, it's basically the similar picture as number 9, but it's more on a close-up, so you can see the structure much better. This is the court, and the entrance to the court, this is the structure that I referred to. Here there's a gate. If you drive in here, you drive into the court, and then this wall, which we will see clearer as well on the other side, is what demarcates this stand-alone building of the court with the police station. Then at the back of the building is the police station structure. Now the parking where I made the accused, my lord, it's here, but I made him closer to where these two cars are parked. It was right in front of where they are parked. There's a small segment, entrance into the police station, and on the left-hand side, it's where the cars are used to go into the police station. You will get a more close-up picture that will indicate what I'm talking about now.
Athi-ke inkantolo futhi khona-ke isango abasebenzisana nabo enkantolo lapho kanti khona-ke lana athi lana-ke ibonda lakhona lapho ezona inkantolo futhi uma kubuya ngahlengena-ke athi leke ayitshengakali kahle izifika kwezinye izinhloko ilayitshengala khona kahle lapho-ke isathi khona lana-ke ukuzabe iphekile khona-ke lapho-ke isanayiphezimele iphile indawo ukuvame ukusetshenziswa abantu uma behamba ngey'nyawo zomhlobo noma bemoto-ke. Athi kepha ngonge lana ingena khona la isala lo mona ukuthi khona la isala ngizokuyenza lapho kepha nasi imali sango lo mona police station njalo lapho athi lana ngemuva isakhiwo salapho athi kepha le ngogele zithola kahle lapho kwezizokhona khona-ke kepha lapho khona le moto lezi zindile le moto lezi-ke athi la khona kanisela bahlala khona-ke ngisola uqala lapho bese yebo kodwa ayokwana nale moto lezi
Now, my lord, if I can so picture photo number 11 really indicates the similar thing from a different view, but straight from the top as well. Because in photo number 11, is this 11? This 11, though. So picture number 11, my lord, shows basically the similar stuff of what is top. This is the police station.
No.
Sorry, this is the court. This is the entrance to the court. There's a gate here if one can zoom in, my lord. And then here, this is the main road, that Birman Street that we spoke about. And this building is the police station. Now, this is where I met the accused, between these two cars, this parking that we use with accused number 1, because right in front of it, my lord, here, there's a entrance into the charge office. And if you come this side, that's where the cars will drive in when they go to the police station. This building, my lord, the structure of the police station, it's a standalone building. There's a wall around it. It's not attached to any municipal offices, as you will see as I go along, because the municipal offices is further up, and there's a close-up pictures of that, my lord.
Athi besithuba lesike sesi-11 lapho-ke indawo imap yezindawana itshebekethele eduze lapho-ke nganathi vele kahle khona-ke athi lana-ke inkantolo elapho ephosphorus khona-ke lapho-ke athi sikhona isalo abazosebenziswa besenkantolo layo yakhombe khona indawo lana-ke athi kepha-ke uma ngabe uzana bathi futhi inkantolo izofonda bayo futhi iyineke kodwana kepha ngabe kwenkantolo khona ke pavement ekhona-ke lapho-ke indawo evaisithi zabona wehamba ngey'nyawo khona lapho-ke athi bese i-police station khona-ke lapho-ke futhi i-police station nayo enesamba layo uma ngabe abantu nemoto-ke khona njalo-ke uhlangothi nendawo-ke lapho-ke athi kuyaphela ngesikhathi kuyahlangana nomsuka wokuqala-ke lapho-ke athi bahlangana duze kuyona le ndawo emele moto lezi ezimbili nalawo lapha-ke athi bahlangana khona kule ndawo lemali athi ngoba uma ngabe bahlangana kwindawo yakhona lapho-ke athi bongene khona isambo elingena kwi-police station kusho ukuthi i-charge office lapho-ke uma beza emotweni yabo ebhekene nesambo elingaphakathi e-police station la yakhona ke-charge office ungekho e-police station inemondanalo imodwana imele kule ndawo yayo athi uma ngabe uhamba ubhaqa khona khonalanga emuva-ke athi kuba khona i-remand road uqamba ngale kubaqonkuluka endlini athi amahhovisi kamasipala akhona ngalamaphezulwana kepha-ke awajengakali athi
Now, my lord, picture 12, it's an illustration basically really of on a more close-up of picture 12, because of picture 11, sorry. Picture 12, it's a more close-up illustration of picture photo number 11, photo number 12.
athi isithombe sasitholfule lapho ke isithombe esatheleke eduze-ke okwedlula ke isithombe saka-11 lezi akhuluma ngasiqala.
And then if you go to photo 13, my lord, now photo 13 is a close-up. This building, my lord, is a police station. Now in here, and if one looks at the album really, the visibility is much clearer than the screen. But if you look here, this is a police station. This is a small portion, sort of like a pavement in front of the CSC, the charge office. This is the wall of the police station. Here, there's an entrance. If you look at the pictures in a close look, I think you'll be able to see the individual hard copies. And then you see they are parked in front of this wall of the police station, my lord. Now, my position when I met the accused on the 30th of May, my lord, with inside the VW Golf would have been around this parking, the first two parkings, my lord, because he was in the VW Golf and I was driving alone. So we visualized this parking in front of the entrance of the police station, my lord. So it would have been here. And it's much more clearer on photo number 13, photo number 14, you can see the clearly because they're actually cars. So the first two cars, my lord, you can use them as the marking points because it relates to the first parking that is now from the left going up. And then in front there's a pedestrian entrance where people will be going in and out. And then on the left-hand side of the structure, that is where the cars, police cars, or someone wants to drive in will then utilize to drive into the police station.
Okay, let's do this. Let's try to look at this kind of in this thing. I think that can happen in the solar water. The outlook on the level at more over a better kind of pattern of what we call for the solar color. At what kind of complaint that is saying that this is in tomorrow I'm going to corner this and corner the party is a case is sponsor. If I am not giving me the corner of the pole, it is an anti-bond that corner before there is a queue for the police station. At the other side, so many people are going to put a police side in many of these now, banging as a income to buy, none of our buying for the police station. Over the time of the city, the sun which you want to have a party to corner. At the $14, it's to be the
Is it possible to maybe make a mark where you met the accused number 1 inside the red Golf?
Yes, I can do a mark. Should I make it on the hard copies, my lord?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So atapenda lapho kahlangana nalo nomfolo oqala ngesikhathi nganaphakathi kwemoto othi umfolo oqala ukuthi kahle ukuphila
All right, my lord. So I've made a marking on photo number 11. because it depicts the spot, my lord. Photo number 12, photo number 14, sorry, let me just go back, my lord. So it's photo number 11, not photo number 12, so it's photo number 11, the next photo is photo number 13, that shows the meeting spot. Then the next one is photo number 14, so it's 3 pictures, my lord.
athi isithombe esithathu la khona-ke umbhalo wakhe lapho-ke isithombe sokuqala-ke enze khona umbhalo wakhe isithombe sesi-11 bese sesibili-ke lapho-ke isithombe ses-13 bese esinye isithombe ses-14 athi kula khona-ke enze aqaphe khona-ke la wahlangana khona-ke nomsolo oqala ngesikhathi behlangana.
I'm showing your colleagues, photo number 11, where there's a mark made by the witness, Gininda, and photo number 13.
Correct.
And then the other 14.
14, that
So
is
it's 11, 13,
and 14.
and 14.
Correct.
Mr. Ngumalo and Mr. Ramsipil, do you have the markings?
Yeah.
If you don't agree with them, please.
No, we've seen the markings, madam.
Yeah, just to say, this witness's markings
Yes.
are these. Not that you agree with it.
As the court pleases, madam.
Should you just show the court?
Even me, I want to see them. Also, kitty carrots in 11. These cars, eh? 12. Get 12 in. Not 11, 13. 13. Where's 13?
Bottom left.
Yeah, okay, I want a bottom left. Okay. Bottom left. 13. 16. Right, and then 14. Right. Okay, so are you saying, in other words, there's a clear demarcation of the building of the police station,
Yes, my lord. Very clear. It's written, you can't miss it.
and then there is on the left, you say there's a gate.
Yes, on the left.
Is it a pedestrian gate?
No, in front of where we are parking.
Yeah, you can see the cars there, yeah?
Yes, now in front of the cars is the pedestrian entrance.
That's it, I see it.
Then on the left, it's where the cars are driving into the police station. So the entrance for the cars is on the left. In front of the cars is the pedestrian entrance going in and out of the police station.
Okay.
In that building, my lord.
phambi kweemoto lezike kulaa khona-ke khona-ke indlela umgwaqo ukhona lapho-ke wabantu bathi bawusebenzisa bengena ngaphakathi kwesesiphoyisa nanabo bephuma ngaphakathi kuzona-ke lapha lesandle sokunxele athi kulaa khona-ke iy'moto ziyahamba khona-ke ezishayela khona-ke uma ngabe zingena ngaphakathi kulesakhiwo zisiphoyisa enoma ziphuma bese kuthangelela uluzwane khona lesandle sokunxele.
There's a red mark there, encircling the first two cars.
Yes, that is correct, my lord, indeed. Now, in front of it here, if one looks closer, especially on the hard copies, you will see the structure that shows that it's basically an entrance, my lord, if you actually go there for pedestrian. Then on this side is the entrance for cars that will take you to the back, because this part, if I may, my lord, this part It's the inside of the police station at the back. That is where now you will find detectives, because they are sitting in this building, and then you'll also find the police barracks in this building, and some HR, personnel for the police station. But what is of paramount in this picture, number 11, with one paramount importance is that if you look where I'm showing you this highlighter, there's a wall all the way, and then it's coming up this way, all the way covering the side of the court, but between the court and the police station, one can also see the wall. And here is it even in front. So there's a wall all around the police station, which confirms the part that I've said, that the police station is a standalone structure. It is not associated or linked to the municipality area or a golf spot or a G spot, whatever that, sorry, my apologies, a golf spot that was given to me earlier.
athi ufakazi ekhonana na-ke uma umuntu angazokwetha iy'thombe ezikhona lapho ke maphakathi kwalamakhasi akhona-ke phakathi kwemifiso lapho-ke athi khona ingwalamayashinga ehamba kamaleyo athi uma ngakubukela ke ndawo into engena ngaphakathi kwesakhiwo sesiphoyisa-ke uma ngabona hamba ngenyawo benginela noma futhi iphinde liphuma-ke kepha khonakala nakwehlangothi okhonakala kasane sokunaleki lapho-ke athi lapho khona-ke kunesango imoto lapho uma ngaphakathi isakhiwo lapho solasile athena-ke ngemuva lapho khona amahhovisi abaseshi amahhovisi abaqashi futhi ama-HR officers lapho abasebenzayo eziphoyisa-ke athi lana-ke ngemuva khona-ke ibonda elikhona-ke lana-ke ngemuva elihamba kala neceleni sixhumana nebonda lana-ke inkantolo-ke uma ngabe wehla ibonda lakho lana ngemuva lihlangene-ke lapho-ke kepha-ke khona-ke ibonda elikhona la ngaphakathi phakathi lesakhiwo sesiphoyisa futhi inkantolo isibonda-ke yiyona-ke eshurenisa phakathi khona njalo-ke lapho-ke inkantolo futhi i-police station kepha-ke khona-ke imoto lezi ezimbili lahlangana khona-ke yena-ke lo mnumzane okwesibiyake lapho-ke ngesikhathi behlangana engaphakathi kwale moto ekuyigolf-ke lapho-ke bese-ke nabeqaphile ngombala obomvu-ke lapho-ke athina-ke nabantu ngabenyawo bengena ngaphakathi isakhiwo sesiphoyisa.
Are you able to give an estimation of how high that wall is, where you met, the one that appears there, the entrance where you met accused number 1?
No,
Next to the
I
circle.
can't estimate, but it is high enough. So it's not a wall where you can see through. In terms of my height, if I'm standing, it's quite high. But the entrance is always open for pedestrian, and the one for the cars is always open in terms of access. But the wall in front, in my recollection, it's quite high. I don't think you can just peep over. It's not that long.
Ade kuze ukuthi abe ibonda leli ubude bebonda bungangani ke lapho-ke athina-ke ibonda leli ngoba yena nganakhona ukuthi abone nani kwalo ukuthi kunani ke lapho-ke emphakathi-ke asho ukuthi kuyibanga kanti kuyibanga zamanithake ukuthi mhlawumbe sifaka phansi ngakuphalisa phezulu ukuthi lifika nangani-ke lapho-ke kepha athina abengakhoni ukuthi abone nani kwalo bona ungathini inyawo zakhe lapho-ke.
And then photo number 16, my lord, there's a yellow triangle or marking, my lord, and that refers to the municipality offices, as indicated previously. So in other words, if you look in this building, my lord, that is now, in other words, now we are moving away from the police station, because the police station is there. This is the parking that I referred to. And then this building, if one looks closer to this building, in relation to the previous photos indicating the court, one will see that this is Bosoras Court. This is the main road that is marked as Birman Street. And then this, because it's clearly highlighted on the other side, is actually the municipal offices. And that is how I understood the version of accused number 1 being said. He was driven into this municipal area, and inside there was a police station and other offices, and that is where it is alleged that he was assaulted and he made me. That's how I understood it. Hence I said, this structure, in my understanding, it's not, there's no police station. One can see the police station is over there. There is no police station in this section of the municipalities. But as we went along, as we go along, then I'll also indicate the shops that I referred to next to this municipal area.
Akhipha ufakazi uma ngabe sesibuka le ndawo abayiqaphele ngombala oyiyellow lapho-ke athi isona-ke isakhiwo samabhilidi kamasipalati lapho-ke kepha athi uma ngabe umuntu angazabuke kahle-ke lapho-ke athi kule ndawo ekhona phela-ke athi inkantolo kepha-ke kusho ukuthi umuntu sekahambile inkantolo futhi sekahambile e-police station uma ngabe sekabuya futhi ehlangana nani nesakhiwo sakamasipalati athi nake ngemuva khona umgwaqo omkhulu ibhuluma road lapho-ke athi lana iyona fikini lapho e-police station-ke bese banaka isakhiwo esipholisana kusho ukuthi yena athi indlela ummeli dayireka ngayo-ke ekuthizeni kulawo ahlangana khona-ke nezimusola eqalaje lapho-ke athi kuyena kulawo fikini kamasipala-ke athi ngawathi akuhlala khona ngalendawo ekade khona i-station phakathi kona-ke kepha athi isikhumulo noma isakhiwo sesiphoyisa asikhona lana ngaphakathi konaphambili kamasipala-ke ngoba siselana phezulwana lesithombe lesike yathi iphekini namanyake lana-ke bese inkantolo lana-ke mawuhamba umgwaqo usehla khona njalo-ke athi kawuhlangana khona-ke namabhilidi ukulihoza likamasipala-ke athi kulabaqaphe khona-ke ngokubala.
So in essence, my lord, what I'm saying is, if you are coming, let's say now you've taken out the entry offering, either from Devon or Johannesburg direction, you'll be coming from this direction. There are pictures that are closer to the offering. Now, before you get even to this, because if you're coming from the entry, taking the offering, you'll be coming from this direction, meaning you'll be driving up this way. Before you even get to the municipal offices, you would have passed the shops next to the municipal offices, which we will get to, and some buildings, including the taxi rank on the left. Thereafter, you will get to this. This is now driving towards Katlo Home, or towards the court, or towards the police station. So you take the offering, you go under the bridge. If you're coming from Johannesburg towards Phosphorus on this main road, you will pass then the shops that we will deal with, my lord, and then get to these municipal offices. This will be on your right, driving to the direction of Katoras, Katlohong, and to the court. Then after you pass these municipal offices, the next building you will see is the court, which is situated here. Thereafter, in front of the court, there is the parking. Then adjacent to the court, there is the standalone building of the SAPS, my lord.
Kakhulu ufakazi umgwaqo khona-ke nomgwaqo omncane nomgwaqo omkhulu etheleka wayeka usuke entike lapho-ke athi uma ngabe usiya lapho eFosforus mhlawumbe siqhamula eThekwini nomqhamula ngeGoli athi indawo yokuqala ozodlula-ke ile ndawo eney'tolo khona lapho i-shopping complex leyo-ke athi ngaphansi kwesakhiwo lesi samabhilidi kamasipala-ke athi khonapho kuhlala khona ney'tolo eziningi zahlukene lapho-ke bese kuyafika khona-ke enkundla kamasipala-ke mawuqa khona-ke ukuhamba ukukhuphuka umgwaqo ukuhamba ungena phakathi-ke bese udlula inkantolo-ke ngaphambi kwento khona-ke ipekile khona-ke bese phambi kwempilo isakhiwo sesiphoyisa-ke esikhona-ke lapho-ke athi manje uma ubona lapho-ke kunakuthi imfundo iqhelana qala ngaphambi kokuthi ufike lapho ekhothi bese udlula enkantolo-ke egcina ukuthi isakhiwo sesiphoyisa. Ade futhi lezi zakhiwo zonkana lezi ziyimele ayiqhumele nezinye izakhiwo.
Now, my lord, if you go to, if you may go to picture, photo number 16. If you look at picture number 16, my lord, the yellow markings encompasses or includes, or rather, marks the buildings that are within the municipal building or environment, my lord. So this circle, my lord, what is termed when you use the entrance to go into the structure, it's where your municipal offices are. Then next to them, we will see on the next picture, which is much more clearer. These are the shops that are referred to next to this structure to say there are shops in this place. I think there's even a shop right there or something of that nature, my lord. But next to them, there will be then the parking and the entrances of the shop. We will see on the next picture in terms of this structure of the shops and the entrance. But what is of importance with picture number 17 is that what has been circled here or marked, what is the area where the municipal offices are situated, which cannot be mistaken to be next to the police station.
It's actually picture number 16, the one that you're busy with.
Yes, it was picture number 16 that I was busy with, this picture number. One can see here, if you look at what has been circled here, it's not even closer to the court because you can't even capture any side of the court. So even this, and one can see, my lord, I suppose if you look at the pictures, you'll see clearer that also it is fenced. There is a marking around it, and that shows how is it marked. It does not include the court, and it does not include the police station as well.
Athi le sithombe lesi 16 ke lapho ke. Doc. Simanda.
Yes, picture 17.
Oh, sorry.
Athi ke sithombe lesi 16 ke lapho ke athi isona ke noma indawo inomqondo umalalo oyini lapho ke athi yona ndawo enamabhilidi kamasipala lekuyona ke ngaphakathi ake futhi uma ngabe kuyona ke indawo kamasipala lapho noma lapho amahhovisi kamasipala ke athi inkantolo ayivelile noma ukhulu inkantolo ukuthi indawo lapho ke kepha athi ingabele futhi leyo indawo abayivalile lapho ke futhi bayokhele lapho ke zibe indawo evalekile ngaphakathi kwendawo eyodwa ukuthi amabhilidi kamasipala wonkana nangabe ajabe abasitshengisa wona ke lesithombe lesi 16.
Now, picture number 17, my lord, is basically the models up of the municipal building, the structure. Because if you look from the top, you see it's similar to this. It's just that it's a models up of it. And one can see that there is a road here, we will see closer, that it leads also to some shopping center or some shop. But here on the left, that is where now the close-up of the municipality area with some buildings around it, my lord.
Athi ke sithombe 17 isithombe sokuhlala ke eduze lapho ke samabhilidi kamasipala ke futhi khona la entaleni ke esandleni sokudla noma ngabahamba lana kumbona ke athi khona ke izitolo ezikhona la eduze nezozana namabhilidi kamasipala ukuthi into shop right isikhona futhi naso ke lana sohlangothi ulima.
Now, picture number 18, my lord, shows it's taken in a different angle, but when we get to picture number 18 and 19, to be more clear. But this is the overview of the shops next to the municipal area in this. But if you go to the next picture, which is 18. Sorry, that will be 19, my lord, to verify.
Isithombe sos 19 isithombe seyitolo ekhona lapho la futhi isona ke esizile indawo eneyitolo sizonkana lapho ezinye kamasipala.
Now, picture number 19, my lord, as well as 20. So we start with 19 now. So this section that is marked, that is triangle, my lord, those are the shops. If one looks at the picture, you can, especially picture when you go to, you'll see here, there's even a marking of shop right that is written. But in here, this is now this road, this street, is the Birman Street that comes from the entry, that is marked as Birman, coming from the entry, going this direction towards the municipal area, the court, and then the police station. So in other words, as I'm giving this description, my lord, we are moving away from the police station towards the entry. So, but if you were coming from the direction of the entry, you will get to these shops first, and then you will get to the municipality area, then you will get to the court, then only then you will get to the police station. So we are moving towards the entry, we are moving to the opposite direction.
Athi ke sithombe sesibili lapho esibona lapho athi sona ke sithombe seyitolo lapha futhi khona isitolo saka shop right esifanele lapho umbhalo ukuthi shop right lapho athi ngaphambi kokuthi kungaqoqwa khona lapho athi manje lo uqoqwa khona athi ungabe uqeda ungena nje ukugqoqa ukuqhubeka wayeka athi uzoqala uhlangana nalo yilona leli lapha leyitolo ekhona nazo sasona lapho athi futhi ziqhelele ukuthi zisedeni nesakhiwo sezipholisa futhi isakhiwo sasenkantolo salapha ePostmas.
Yes, my lord. So that's that. So in picture number 20, you will see there's a marking there, my lord. I think if you look at the hard copy, it's much more clearer that here it shows that these are shops. This is the entrance. Then on the left, that is where now the municipality area is situated. And this, my lord, really relates to the point that I made, I think, at some stage when I was cross-examined by Advocate Mnisi, when I said, for me, I was not there obvious when he alleged that he was assaulted prior, because there was a time where it alleged that he was assaulted before I arrived, and then at some stage when the plastic was removed, then it's alleged that I was there. But in response to that, my lord, I then made mention of saying, but there are a lot of people there, there are shops, so I would have expected people to come in and so forth, so I would not understand how will people commit this offense in front of people. And the response I got in that was that from Advocate Mnisi was to the effect that it was during the COVID time, so it would have been quiet. But the point that I'm going to, my lord, is that in response to that, when I said there were shops next to the municipal offices, this is what I was referring to. That this is the municipal building, and then these are the shops I was referring to. Yes, so if you may then move to picture number 21. So picture, is this 21? Yes. Now, so if you look at picture 21, my lord, so here this will be the municipal office, sorry, the shops, my lord. In here, because this is Goodman Street, somewhere there, there's a bridge. You will see those up there. Going that way, yes. And then somewhere here, my lord, court will remember that I've indicated that next to the shop there's a place where you get a small taxis. I even mentioned the name called Amapela. This is where they will congest, because further up there is now a main taxi rank that I referred to. That will be on the right, which I'll indicate that in this spot, this is where now you find this small taxis called Amapela. And if you were here and you were to turn left, my lord, this is now, this road will be the road coming from the police station, this meaning away from the police station towards the entrance. If you get to this intersection, there are robots. If you turn left, going on this road, this is where the crime scene, this road will take you to the crime scene. You just have to drive up all around, get to the BP area and turn in. That is where now the crime scene, this 135 Kupanong Street is situated. If you turn left, right coming from the crime scene, you'll be going toward the police station. If you turn left, where the arrow is pointing, you're going to the N3. So what I'm saying, my lord, is that here, this is where, and you can see even in this photograph, the are cars parked here. This is the small cars, taxis that we call Amapela, because they don't form part of the main taxi rank, the big minibuses. And then if you go that way, in there's a building. In my recollection, there's some activities. I'm not so sure whether there are shops or what, but there is a building. Then opposite, there's a big phosphorus taxi rank, which we will get into on the next photos.
kusho ukuthi akuze la indawo isigameko yomuzi wakhumalo-ke lapho zakhona isigameko lesi esenzeka ukuthi khona-ke kepha kumawakhe kwagqolana kubuya futhi khona ngalana-ke uma ujika efake esandleni sokudla-ke nasehlangothini lesikhumulo sezifundisa futhi nentantolo kepha kumangakukho khona njalo-ke but khona-ke lana-ke isakhiwo esikhona-ke lapho-ke kusho isakhiwo selenki encane-ke leyo-ke ilenki yamatekisi amancane esho ukuthi-ke lawo amaphela-ke mawefuna igama ejojolekile lapho-ke ilenki yamaphela athi kepha uma ngabe kuhamba umgwaqo-ke khona njalo-ke athi kulahlangana khona-ke nelenki amatekisi amakhulu lawo-ke mhlawumbe namatekisi afana nalana abakwajana noma abama-super 60 kepha-ke athi khona ngalana-ke uma ngazohamba khona njalo-ke athi khona lapho khona-ke lesakhiwo lesi futhi lesinye isakhiwo selenke eseduze naso kepha nathi ilenke encane yamaphela-ke kepha mojika napha njalo-ke ulazana khona sahlangothini lesikhumulo sezifundise kepha uma khuphuka lana emarobhothini ujika ngesikhathi sokumele athi kulaya khona-ke lapho kukhona street la kusho ukuthi le ndawo yesigameko umuzi wakwakhumalo.
So, my Lord, if you can proceed to photo 22. So now, photo 22, my Lord, is marked according to the key notes, according to the photographer, my Lord. So this is Birman Street, as I've indicated. It's marked as Birman Street. That is the road that goes to the police station. So if you move to this direction, my Lord, you are moving towards the police station, coming from the N3. So in other words, if you take the off-ramp, be it that you're coming from Johannesburg or from Devon, you'll be coming from this direction, meaning driving up as the arrow is showing, and then you will then get these buildings. Then E, it indicates that there's these buildings before you get even to the shops next to the municipality. This building is these shops, as they are marked there, my Lord, that says shops next to the municipality area, and then F indicates the main taxi rank, my Lord. We will see more clearer on the next picture because it's more clearer, but this is the main taxi rank that I indicated that as you drive to Fosoras, it will be on your left as you drive in. But even it, my Lord, is prior to you getting to the police station. So you're driving up, you get this building, you get the shops, you get the municipality building, you get the court, then you can then descend to the police station, my Lord.
Athi ngofakazi uma ngabonela ngomgwaqolana ngenzansi akuhluphi ukuthi esikhamba mhlawumbe eThekwini nomkhamba-ke eGolide kepha uma ungena ngomgwaqolana ngakubona umgwaqo weBrimark lona kongena ngawo-ke lapho-ke bese ngalana-ke esandleni la azeshikisa khona-ke athi itaxi rank enkulu lapho eFoslorus-ke lapho-ke amatekisi amakhulu-ke kanjalo-ke ngomgwaqo-ke lapho-ke udlula ibhilidi leli khona lapha ley'tolo-ke lapho-ke mawuqeda udlula ibhilidi ley'tolo khona lapho bese ngalana-ke abamakhe khona athi lamabhilidi esakhiwo lapho-ke sedlule kamasipalati lapho-ke athi futhi umgwaqo ubona umgwaqo weBrimark lo-ke okhulumana nawo-ke noqhama lapho umgwaqo omkhulu kathela kawayeka ka-N3 athi futhi mawuhamba ngomgwaqo lona usengakaqhamuki e-police station neze athi itaxi leli lakhona-ke lengakhulumi ngoqawulisa isesandleni sokumele-ke uma uqeda ungena ngalo mgwaqo khona-ke weBrimark lapho-ke kepha kungena ukhuphuka uhamba ushayela njalo umgwaqo khona-ke athi lapho phambili kwakhalima khona-ke nesakhiwo sezesipholisa futhi nesakhiwo sasenkantolo.
Now, photo 23, my Lord, refers to this building that I spoke about before you get to the shop next to the municipality area. And one can see that N3 is marked. So in other words, this is the N3. This one, just before this, because the N3 north and south is demarcated, yes, it's demarcated by, I may be wrong about the directions, my Lord, in terms of the geographical pointing, but the one that is going to Johannesburg, it's demarcated to the one going towards Heidelberg and Devon by these trees. There are trees that are planted in between. So it will be one way up towards Johannesburg, one way down, still N3 towards Devon. Now one will see that this is the N3, and somewhere after you pass this, unfortunately the photo does not show it, my Lord. There will be an off-ramp. That is, if you're coming from Johannesburg, then you will then turn right, go under the highway, then you'll be coming up from this direction, passing this building, passing this street, passing the shops next to the municipality, passing the municipality itself, passing the police station and the court, and then driving into the police station. That is now the direction from the entry, my Lord.
athi noma ngabe umgwaqo omkhulu kathela wayena sokuthi umgwaqo lapho-ke athi ungakuthi uma ngabe unephosphorus mhlawumbe ukhomba lapho egoli mhlawumbe ethekilile lapho-ke athi kepha kuqodwa uvumela ukuthi unesandla sakho sokudlala lapho-ke athi uma ngakho isandla sakho athi ubona-ke lapho-ke bese hlanganisa isakhiwo sekhensile lapho irenki yamatekisi lapho-ke athi iyona-ke lenakhona athi wahamba ngokubhaboshela athi kulandela khona lezi izakhiwo eziningi izakhiwo ezenhlolo nezakhiwo zamabhilidi kamasipalati baqhubeka khona umgwaqo ohamba khona besashayela ngawo-ke bese ugcina ufika-ke ezivula enkantolo lapho enkantolo athi lakhona kukhona isakhiwo sezipholisane athi basitshengisa khona leyo nto leyo athi laba abakhepha ngokombala oyelo athi balesibenzo khona-ke lapho-ke.
Now, my lord, picture so 24, it's a close-up of the taxi rank. One can see, my lord, that these are the quantums. You can see in the pictures of what they found when they choose, when they covered this album. This is the main taxi rank that I referred to say you never passing, going to the direction of the police station. And opposite it, so between the taxi rank and this building, this is the Perman Street that drives towards the police station from the entry direction, but it goes further up to Boxburg, Dal Park, all those areas. But anyway, coming from the entry, my lord, you'll be coming down this way, passing the taxi rank. It will be on your left if you come from the highway, passing this building and then going further to the buildings that are indicated. So photo 24 is showing the taxi rank from this. My recollection, my lord, some shop, I just don't recall what they do, but some business enterprise this building.
Athi lofakazi nana-ke kukhona umgwaqo omkhulu ka-emgqokathela wayena lapho-ke athi lo laba ngombala omnyama-ke lapho-ke athi kukhona-ke ibrimane lapho-ke le ephakathi ephosphorus lehlangothele ngapha-ke kepha moya-ngake athi usuke uhamba umgwaqo obrimane futhi-ke gcina ufike kumanya kwalokhishi wasebosburg nakuphile lapho-ke kepha thina iyoqala oxhumana nayo noma ohlangabeza nayo noma udlula kuyona noma ongena nje lapha khona ngomgwaqo wasebrimane thize kungena lephosphorus-ke athi ngikule taxi rank lapho-ke athi taxi rank yamakhwantamu njengoba sejinakala ngesithombe lesinye nje khona amatekisi amile lapho zishida amatekisi ababiza ngokuthi amakhwantamu lapho-ke bese ngayana-ke phezulwana duze athi ngalekho mgwaqo we-Perman Road lapho-ke athi khona-ke iy'tolo ezikhona-ke lapho-ke ukhohlwe nje ukuthi iy'tolo eziningi lapho-ke kepha kundawo iy'tolo noma khona-ke nasentra bese ngenzansi-ke.
Now, if we can go to picture number 25, my lord, it then shows basically entry, as I indicated, that one direction is facing Johannesburg, it's the entry highway, and then the other direction is towards Devon, basically, passing Heidelberg, Villiers, all those areas, my lord, right to Devon.
Athi lesithombe lesi esikhona-ke njengamanje athi khona umgwaqo omkhulu kathela wayena osukwe emvikeleyo-ke athi ihlangothi lomgwaqo ka-MG lethangalana-ke egolile bese ihlangothi umgwaqo ka-MG lilimikisa ngapho kwethekini lakhona-ke zinanayo ngamshaya umgwaqo khona muhamba usiyathini.
Now, here, my lord, one will see that, so this is where the entry is, and that one will see that once you've taken the off-ramp, you'll be driving this direction towards now the police station. And this is where your phosphorus taxi rank is situated. This is the building that I spoke about. Then you will find the shops next to the municipality. You will further up, then after that find the municipal building. You will then find the court, and further up then you find the police station. So if you're coming from the entry, my lord, this is the direction you will have to take. So you find this building, you find the shops, you find the municipality, and all the structures, they are clearly demarcated, my lord. You don't, so in other words, there's no one entrance where you go into and find all these different structures of the court, of the business enterprise, or even of the shops. They are clearly demarcated, sort of they are standalone type of buildings, my lord.
Athi lofakazi uma ngabe kwalethombe leside la esikhona njengamanje lesikhathi seleside athi isithombe esijabula khona lapha ke lapho-ke bese khona ke ofika mshito umgwaqo omnyama oyeli okhethalana nefotorasi luhamba ngaphansi komgwaqo omkhulu kathina kawela ubhuqwa khona usuqamba khona ngenake speed development road ngenake athi uma uqeda ukugqatshonaka ngalana esandleni esokumele athi into yokuqala ehlangabezana nayo ukuthi isakhiwo saserenki taxi rank ngenake athi bese ngale eceleni kwayo kathi isakhiwo sezitolo lapho mabisukwalake mawuphinda futhi uhamba ushaya umgwaqo omahamba ngenyanga umgwaqo khona lana waseGreenland athi lapha phambili kulahla uhlangana khona-ke namasipalati bese kuyitolo khona lapho kule nakhona itolo naboShoprite futhi lezinye itolo zakhona-ke mawuqhubeka futhi umgwaqo uhamba khona njalo salapha phambili futhi ugcina uhlangana nenkantolo futhi izakhiwo zezikhombisa.
Now, the last picture, my lord, which is picture number 26. F, it's clearly marked, my lord, and they can note that it is indeed a taxi rank. This is now becoming, it's basically the illustration of what I referred to, coming from the direction of the M3. This is a taxi rank. This is the building opposite taxi rank. There is some business enterprise. You can actually, on this picture, you can see that there are even cars in front of it and some package of some sort. That is now within. From where I am, I can see it's even much clearer on the pictures. But this is the street, Marcus Gilman Street, driving or going to the direction of the police station in Asabes. It's a two-way traffic, so you can go that way towards the police station or drive back towards the N3. Meaning now, if you drive towards the N3, you can either take the on-ramp towards Johannesburg, coming just after this building. If you're going to Johannesburg, you'll take the on-ramp. If you're going to Durban as well, you'll take the on-ramp to that direction, man. That is the last photo, my lord.
Thank you, Brigadier. If we can then move to a different topic regarding the photos that were downloaded on the memory card of case number 2. They've been handed up as exhibit DD4 in brackets A.
Wathi khona-ke iy'thombe abayibekile ngaphambi kwenkosi yenkantolo-ke ngaphansi kwemibukiso ka-DD4 wathi iy'thombe lazo bekamnumzana-ke uNhlanzi okumsola wesibili-ke icala lihle.
And Warrant Officer Ndlovu has already testified about these photos.
Bathi khona-ke njalo umnumzana Warrant Officer Ndlovu sekele akhulumile ngofakazi bakhe nangasekabulethile ufakazi bakhe mayelana ney'thombe lezi.
And it was put on behalf of case number 2 that he admits the photos, that it's him, and as well as how he looked like, his features.
Bathi lapho komsolo wesibili uvumile ukuthi iy'thombe lezi-ke ngezakhe futhi nandlela ahlangana ngayo-ke kulezi thombe lezi.
And this is to deal with the proposition that was made to Mr. Tumela Madlala. This we see on the proceedings of 8 August 2023, page 13.
Yes, my lord, I'm
If you
following.
can just put that on record. It's line number 14.
acela ufakazi manje kafunde mayelana nenkulumo kade beyitshela umnumzana uTumelo Madlala ke la ngaphambi kusenkantolo ke ngelanga lange-8 zika-August ngomnyaka ka-2023.
So, my lord, the proposition, that is now Mr. T. Madlala, and it's dated, so the court case number is CC 67/2020, and it's dated 2023, 0608, my lord. And then so that is line 14, Mr. Ramsepile. Now, accused 2 instructs me that he has never had this beard here. In fact, he does not grow on him, and he has never had an O-shaped beard like you say the second suspect had. And furthermore, that he has always kept the I'm not sure of this word, my lord. The one that you see, a goatee. The one that you see here in court from as long as he can remember.
Bathi lapha kulo mugca kwesi-14 kokushicilela ngaphambi kusenkantolo ke ngelanga TCC cala kwa-TCC 67/2020 ke lapho ke ngomnyaka 2023 ngenyanga yesi-8 ngelanga lesi-8 ke lapho ke bathi lapha kumugqa wesi-14 umnumzana Ramsepile uyasho khona nje ukuthi manje ke njengoba umhlola wesibili kuyangitshela ngikutshela ukuthi ngakaze ke abe nayo ke le ntshebe ijakala ngalapho ke futhi le ntshebe lena ayikhulu ke lapho ke kuyena futhi akakaze abe nayo ke intshebe o-shape ke lapho kuyena ke uma ngabe sizokhuluma lapho bathi umhlola wesibili ke futhi athi ngitshela ukuthi ngakaze abe futhi kokugcina lapho ke nakade intshebe yakhe efana nangale goatee kade anayo ke lapho kuyena ke le shile la enzansi ke intshebe yakhe kanayo ke futhi athi njengoba umbona la ngaphambi kwenkantolo futhi le ntshebe anayo la kuyena ke la ngenzansi ke kade ayigcinile isikhathi esiningi noma akhumbule.
Just for record purposes, can you just identify the picture on the left-hand side of
So, my lord, the picture on
who
the
says
left-hand
as
side-
exhibit, it is part of exhibit J.
So the picture on the left-hand side, my left-hand side, my reproduction is identikit. This is now the one that was done by warrant of the state camp after the incident.
Athi isithombe esikhona lapha ngesandla sokunxele ke la kuyena ke isithombe esithi identity isithombe senziwa lapho ke warrant officer
State camp. And this is a description that was given in particular by Makaleni to her describing the second intruder.
athi isikhaniso lesi salomuntu leso nositshelayo ke sasikencamp asitshela noMakaleni ukuthi umuntu wesibili kade yimile ekhaleni ukuthi ujakala kanjani ngosimo sakhe sasebusuku.
Yes, the second picture on the
Sorry,
right.
sorry, were you there?
No, it was before my time, my lord. I saw that in the docket. She disposed an affidavit, and I think it's forming part of exhibit, my lord, because Advocate Munisi took me through that reporting that was made, or the report that was made. But in fact, it's a statement that was made by
Makaleni.
warrant officer- Yes, by Makaleni, 2 warrant officers in camp. But not only Makaleni, she interviewed everyone that was in the house.
And I'm interested in Makaleni because you are saying he said.
Yes, it's in that report. my
Yeah,
lord.
but is it a statement which is under oath?
It's a statement under oath by Warrant Officer Steenkamp.
Right.
It's referring
That
to-
statement was taken from Makaleni.
So there is a statement of Makaleni
Makaleni
himself in the docket,
where he gives a description
where he gives a description
of what he saw.
of what he saw of the second suspect.
Right.
Then, but the exhibit that we dealt with in this court, my lord, it's a statement of Warrant Officer Steenkamp.
Yeah, Steenkamp, I remember.
Yes, and then in that part, in part of her statement, she indicated the description she got from Mr. Makaleni, which made her to draw this identikit, my lord. That is now according to, I think it's Exhibit J. I'm just not remember the name, my lord. It could be Exhibit J of in the court's record.
Yeah, I think it is J.
This is an objection, my lord. I don't want to be thrown at with something that I never said. There is no point where
I don't understand you. which you never said.
Yes.
Who says you said anything?
That's the reason why I am standing up to
Yeah, but-
correct what Brigadier
Yeah,
Keninda
I'm
just
following
said.
you.
Yes.
So Brigadier Gininda said you said something.
Yes.
What?
Brigadier Keninda said, when I cross-examined him, I took him through the identity kit that was compiled by Steenkamp. And part of it, I also mentioned about accused number 2. I never spoke about accused number 2. In that identity kit, I only
fine.
concentrated on accused number 3.
Okay, so he's mistaken.
I don't know whether it's intentional or mistaken, my lord.
My lord, I think perhaps we misunderstood each other. The point that I was making is that Exhibit J, I was referred to Exhibit J, Warrant Officer Steenkamp statement, through the cross-examination. And in
He
that,
said he never cross-examined you concerning accused number 2.
my lord, I was, if one has to be specific, then one will have to look into the record. But my recollection, I was asked by different counsel on behalf of all the accused. That's my recollection. But if then one has to see what exactly did Advocate Mnisi put to me, then one will have to look at the record. But my recollection, I was cross-examined across board by different counsel, even on other accused, my lord, that they were not representing. That's my recollection. Yes.
Yes, it's on record that Mr. Ramoseple represent accused number 2.
That's correct, my lord.
Just want to show you Exhibit J, is the document that you are referring to.
Yes, I've got it, my lord.
Thank you. Right. Can you then just go ahead and do you have any comment to make on the identity kit and the photo that's been handed up as Exhibit DD4A?
The entire album, or should I go picture by picture?
just
This picture.
yes, the picture.
My lord, as I indicated, this is the identity that was made by Warrant Officer Steenkamp while she obviously after interviewing Mr. Makaleni, or during the interview with Mr. Makaleni. This is accused number 2, wearing a red hoodie with, I think it's black, it's 2 colors, it's red and it's black.
Athile ufakazi anake ushuthi identity shothi indlela kade bemkhuluma ngayo ke lo muntu osibili obanjwe ukuthatha lo muzi nilana lesigameko ke athi lelo lingayenziwa lapho kwakuthi Steenkamp athi isikhathi ukwathi Steenkamp la yenza ngisho wayezwa inkulumo ekhulumakeleni ekuthi nomuntu ujakala indlela ekanjena umuntu kanjena bese lapho ke nakathi wadweba ke nomuntu ngendlela akuyiyo lana athi ke iduze lesithombe eceleni sesandla sasekuleleke athi isithombe sakamsoko lwami lesibili lapho kunomntazini athi futhi igqokekela kena ingubo enembala emibili lapho igezi egqokile kodwa athi umbala obomvu bese kuphinde kuye futhi la ngenzansi kuyena esifubeni ukwehla kwenzansi futhi umbala lapho kena ngathi imnyama.
Now, my lord, this was made or drawn or sketched. The identity was done by one of the Steenkamp just after the incident happened. As I'm indicating, getting it from Mr. Makaleni. And what one can say is that the second intruder is described or is sketched with a oval, an O-shaped beard, which is similar to the picture of accused number 2.
Athile lapho ke isithombe esikhona esandla sokudla lesi qala lesi isithombe esavela lapho athi isikhathi ngitshela ngani lesikhangiso lesalumuntu eyangile ngaphakathi ekhalekana babuthi umtsheli yakhe anayo lakhe ukuthi uzeke uzawo khona makena bathi kushe yini yonke ukuthi ngitshele khona ngana ukuthi endawo lomuntu lena ke yakhe athi yona sibona ukuthi nalana ngamthi ngaba nesithombe somuntu uNdasi.
Now, my lord, if one is to take into consideration what the state advocate asked me to read, which says accused, and I obviously I was not in court, I don't know in what context it was put, but if the assertion is understood by me, the way I understand it, which says accused number 2 never had an O shape. This picture, my lord, contradicts that, my lord, because the O-shaped beard, you can see clearly on accused 2. This is now, and I'm not referring to the identity, I'm referring to the picture itself.
Athi yofakazi na ngesikhathi bekhuluma ngaso ngakade ngingathumela ngikhombela ngaphambi komlolo athi kuyaqala ke uma ngabe abantu isikolo esibila azabe nayo intshebe endawo ngiyakela ke simbakele athi yona lento ehamanga ngoba ngaba uma ngikho esithombe lesike athi intshebe endawo ngiyana esithombe lesike athi khona ke futhi noma esithombe lesike sesifundisa ngempela futhi khona intshebe endawo ngiyakela.
As it may please the court, now I'm standing up on the objection basis being irrelevance, my lord.
Hello?
The basis of my objection is irrelevance. My lord will recall that when Warrant Officer Ndlovu testified, he was taken through the same exercise. And I let it slide until the court said, is that relevant evidence? Because Brigadier Gininda, he may comment and cannot comment on what was put to Constable Zungu. And whoever also made a claim that the second suspect had an O-type beard and a what Warrant Officer Ndlovu described as a swine. And when I researched it, it was called a soul patch, my lord. That type of beard between the lower lip and the chin. So we are going to go through the same exercise again, my lord. As the court pleases.
Yes, Mr. Baloyi.
As the court please, my lord, the court will recall, well, Mr. Ramsepli says the evidence is irrelevant. We submit that it is relevant. The court will recall that Brigadier Gininda did testify that when he met accused number 2 for the first time at Sibanye Gold, that he had that picture on the identity kit on the left-hand side, and he questioned accused number 2 on that identity kit. Now, there's a benefit of another picture. There's nothing wrong, my lord, in this witness testifying about his own observations. We submit that it is relevant.
My lord, like I always say, and I'll always say it again, in law, context is very important. The context of Brigadier Gininda confronting Mr. Ntanzi with the identity kit at the mine. His evidence is clear, Brigadier Gininda. Mr. Ntanzi said, this is a mistaken identity. Now, the second context that must be put so that Brigadier Gininda is on terms of what the state is trying to lead him on. When the second photo with the hoodie, blue and red, was taken, my lord. You can't lead the witness without giving them context, and I submit again, my lord, this is irrelevant, my lord.
Well, my lord, we have just begun to deal with the photo when my learned friend made an objection. We haven't had the opportunity to lead the witness about the events of the 18th of June, 2020.
18th of June.
Yes.
So you're going to lead the witness on that evidence?
Just briefly, my lord, not in detail.
Was it?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Ramsepedi says he's going to lead the witness on the evidence.
My lord, I'll wait to see what is going to lead on, because my lord must remember, there are bases for objections, relevance, asked and answered. If he's going to ask on something that's been answered, I'm going to object because that's on record. Why would we repeat it again? But I'll wait to hear first what he's going to say, my lord. I can't stop him.
As a court, please, Brigadier, just to contextualize your evidence, the identity kit on the left-hand side of the screen. You have testified that you had interaction, and this is already on record, with accused number 2 on the 18th of June 2020 at Sibanye Gold. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, now, regarding that identity kit, what was your interaction with accused number 2?
My Lord, it was to the extent that I believe that this identity, the personal identity resembles him, looks like him. And as Mr. Ramsipil has correctly put it, he rebutted that by saying exactly what Mr. Ramsipil said. So he said it's not him, it's a question of mistaken identity, my Lord.
Now, having had the benefit of photo DD4 in brackets A, which was extracted from the downloads of accused number 2, what is your comment regarding the identity kit and the photo? As we've pointed, accused number 2 has already admitted that the photo on the right, DD4A, is his photo and his features.
My Lord, as I've indicated, even earlier in the evidence, that before even seeing this photo on the right, just by looking at accused number 2, I had to believe, insofar as my observation was concerned, that it resembles the person on this identity as the second suspect that was given to warrant of first income. So I want
My Lord, again, I'm going to rise on the point of relevance.
Hello?
I'm going to rise again on the point of relevance on this photograph and this line of examination. Let me start and reset the button. Warrant Officer Ndlovu, when he testified, and correctly saw what Advocate Sibanda did, he made Warrant Officer Ndlovu to go through the facial description, a full facial description of the identity kit. That is the O-type, beard, the soul patch, and the dreadlocks. Now, Brigadier Gininda is shown this selectively to look at the O-type and then go to the picture on the right and say, make a comparison without giving him the context of all the facial features that appear on the identity kit.
Why should he be given the context? Because he's looking at, he's observing the lithograph of Mrs. Steenkamp, and he sees a photograph of a gentleman in red and blue with a hoodie. He's looking at it.
So that is own personal
Yeah,
observation.
he's seeing it, yeah. And you know what? And also, this evidence, Brigadier Gininda, he says when he confronted Mr. Ntanzi, accused number 2,
Number 2, yes.
about the photo, which is a lithograph, the one which was
The
drawn.
identity kit.
That's it. He says he denied. He said, no, it's not me. It's a mistaken identity. So his evidence encompasses, amongst others, that denial. Now he says, when he looks at them, there's an uncanny resemblance between the lithograph and the photograph. And he is viewing it, not me, he sees it. So you can argue that he's wrong. There's no resemblance, fine. Cross-examine him.
Yes, you may continue.
My Lord, so in my view, my Lord,
Sorry, my lord.
Case number 2.
What's that? Oh, okay, okay. What's your time, Mr.?
It's 321.
Okay, I'm just asking. Yeah.
Yes, you may continue.
so my Lord, looking at the picture that comes from DB4, according to what I told you, my Lord, and the identity that was drawn by Warrant Officer Steenkamp, I do really see the very strong similarities in terms of the person who the identity and accused number 2, my Lord.
Athi lapho ufakazi iphethe izinto ezifake zombili lapho-ke uma ngabathengi baqhathanisa bathobisa esakubana lapho-ke balufisa sitiyeni lapho-ke futhi nesithomisa umnumzana uNtanzi-ke azoziphilele noma bafuna ngaphakathi yakhe-ke athi lapho khona-ke okukhulu okufana kusho okuningi okufanayo awuthomekeze zombili.
Even though, my Lord, what is also common, my Lord, is the hoodies. Even though on the identity it looks grayish, but if one looks on the photo that comes from exhibit DB4, it's reddish with black, blue, might be blue as well, my Lord. But what is common is the type of the head, what is wearing it. And it's a hoodie insofar as the identity is concerned. And he, on this exhibit DB4, is also wearing the hoodie, my Lord.
Ati futhi ufuna ukufana namalebele namashezi omibili lapho-ke nalokho akazolo-ke yothobe sakudala sitiyeni lapho-ke athi bagqoka ugqoke isigqoko lena isigqoko sekudikena-ke esombala ogreen nesikhangisa silengena nobomvu lapho-ke athi kuyakubona kwesithunzi sekuhlanganiso-ke mina isithombe sakhe siqinisile lapho-ke athi lapho ugqoke ukuthi enombala lapho-ke obomvu-ke kepha kungabe siseka isigqoko soseka ngombala obomvu-ke
And as I've said, my Lord, the O shape, both on the identity as well as on the DB4, one can, the oversight, the O shape here, one can clearly see that.
Ati futhi kwakwejobe ezizombili ethobelezitshwala lapho sithethayo athi ngonke lapho kumhlophe kuyitshele ey'ndawo oshelelezisile lapho-ke athi futhi noma kubuka isithombe seqiniso semunga Mntanzi nakhona-ke athi imtsheni ekade inawo ngisho ukuthi u-ocean.
Yeah, so looking into this, my lord, and I don't want to go back to what I've already testified about unless it's necessary really. But if you look at the identikit and you look at as a whole, you look at accused number 2, and you take into account what was done during the course of the investigation, there are corroborating circumstances that indicate strongly that the second intruder, the alleged second intruder, fit with the state narrative that it is accused number 2.
Athi futhi uma ngisojobela ukusesha kotholakala labo lapho mayelana nendaba beyidokumende ke leyitholile lapho athi uma ngabe isikhathi sifana nomuntu khona ngalana futhi nezinto zokususa ingane ebanzile lapho ke athi lendlela abamchazile ngayo noma abakhuluma ngayo ke umuntu wesibili owangena ngaphakathi ekhaya lenakhe athi indlela eyodwa ke utshaka khona ngalana lezi zombili.
Will that be an appropriate time, my lord, to adjourn for the day?
Okay, yeah, just one question before I forget it. The drawings, as you call them, when were they taken by Mrs. Steenkamp? How many months, how many days,
No, it was.
how many years?
No, I think it would have been a day or two. I can just look
Yeah.
into it very quickly, my lord, to be specific.
Manje kusenkantolo kuyabuza ke kufaka ukuthi phecelezi udaba lomdwebo ukuthi labo abantu baseNkampo lokudweba kwakhe okwenzani mhlawumbe ngemuva kwelanga lilodwa khona amalanga amaningi noma ngemuva kwesonto noma ngemuva kwey'nyanga ke yathi ufakazi ubheka laphansi kustatement sakho ukuthi ngabe nako okudweba nini ngokade kukadweba.
It was the 29th of October 2014, my lord. So it was basically on the third day after the incident took place. Monday morning, she indicates that she interviewed these people on Monday morning of the 29th.
Okay, on the
Of
29th
October.
of October.
October 2014. So it's the beginning of the morning hours of the third day after the incident took place, my lord.
Bathi ke mayelana nenkulumo ke ebhale ngaphansi kwesifungo ukuthi udaba wakhe ke nako into seStenkampo ke wadweba ngelanga lange-29 zaka-October ngomnyaka 2014 futhi ngemuva kwamalanga amathathu ke ngemuva kwelanga lesigameko athi kade kumsombuluko emalangeni ngesikhathi sakusasa ke ngesikhathi lesibakhezo bofakazi laba kade bemtshela ngesikhangiso ke salo muntu wesibili ke owangenekela khaya wakhuluma.
It's actually on the third day, my lord, not after the third day. It's exactly on the third day because if you count from the 26th going upwards, it takes you to the third day, my lord, 29th of October.
Ngiyaxolisa ke lapho nesiqiniseko nje sikhona athi kusuku sesithathu ke lapho ke uma ngokubona uma sobala ke lapho ngamalanga ke lapho suthi ilanga lesithathu ke uma qala ilanga lange-26 lange-27 2029.
Okay, so we're adjourned until tomorrow.
Yes, I am available, my lord, yes.
Manje sibeke kusasa ke bafethu kuyofanele uqala nje.
Okay, adjourned until tomorrow, 10.